Pro.
Oh God.
Dean blowing him about the stags and fucking DJ dribbling in a corner.
Must have been like a fucking meeting at Mensa, mustn't it? You know?
The opposite of Mensa. What's that?
Whatever the opposite of Mensa is, dribbling in a corner like a fucking tard or something, whatever it would be called. I don't know. You know, nodding your head like a fucking Mongol. Oh dear. Sorry?
Don't hold back.
Okay, I won't. If you haven't got it, I think they're both thick as fuck. But I got nothing against them. Nice enough guys.
And then put someone else in the fucking mix, and Jesus Christ, there's a right conversation to be had.
Oh,
hey?
What? It's got to be Bozzy, isn't it?
Oh, fuck me, Bozzy then, and fucking someone to mention his disease or illness that he's had in the last year that has affected him so badly that he can't use. Yeah.
Yeah, but has he had a stroke?
Wow. So legend says, Kelly.
Yeah. So legend. I liked him better when he just commented in the chat.
I liked him better before Daniel Francis brought him along. And when you think about it, that makes a lot of sense that Daniel Francis brought this guy along.
Yeah, sorry, Skunky just stuffed it in the wall at top of Eau Rouge.
I mean, the good thing to come out of PN was Daz, I suppose. If you can class that as a good thing.
That sounds wrong.
Questionable. Yeah, it does sound wrong. Which bit did you come out of?
Daz. Oh, fucking peeled you apart with his quavery fucking fingernails. Darren! Oh, yes, Daz, come on.
Wow, that got a bit weird, didn't it?
Made myself feel sick now mentioning his fingernails, to be honest with you.
That's just all a bit weird.
You've not seen his train videos, Kelly, have you?
I had no, mate. Anything that's to do with PN, I just
real life.
I'll have to send you one time. You'll see what we mean.
Right, you've met the guy though, haven't you?
But yeah, I bought Bozzy bought something off him, and I picked it up from Norwich when I went to go and watch Wigan with Gary when they were down in Norwich. Yeah,
that must have been an experience for you then, eh?
I've had many experiences in my life. Meeting Jamie Brazier was one.
I've had that pleasure.
I still love your reaction to how you described him.
Oh, what, when I was in Switzerland and you turned up and Fiore was like, how do I know what Jamie looks like? And I went, lanky looking dweeb. And I get I'm being mic'd up, Kelly. I've been mic'd up in the studio. We're about to go live in 10 minutes. Joe Snapchats me. Description spot on. Right, okay. He's fat Jamie then. Him and Dan's got that
right, though. Yeah. If you could imagine the drabbest looking, dweebiest fucking...
He's all gangly and fucking thin and just...
long line of piss, isn't he? But his motorsport knowledge is unrivaled.
I'll never forget that same weekend. Me, Gary and Dan are stood on the hill at Donny. We were in a chat, chatting about the race. Like, Jamie's got his head in between Dan and Gary. Gary's chirping away, saying something about one of the drivers doing this, doing that, ought to go on the wet tyre or whatever it was, and Jamie's going, yeah, he ought to do this, he ought to. And Gary turns around, Gary starts looking around, and me and Dan look at what Gary's looking at. Gary goes, is there a fucking parrot here or something? me and Dan instantly burst out laughing. Jamie just goes, like, because that one awkward, wasn't it?
I mean, hey, if you know, as I said, at least he's got a talent because his motorsport knowledge is fantastic.
Oh, fuck me, we could say the same about PN's death knowledge. Around circuits, well, it's second to none.
On that note, I'm going to catch you all boys later. I'm going to go join Ben.
See you later, Dan.
All right, Dan. Dan. Good luck.
Just let Dan stream know there's only 10 months and 12 days till Christmas.
Take one for the team, Dan.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, but we'll try.
Take one for the team, like Pro-Am last night.
Come on, you're some sort of champ. Get on with it, fuck's sake.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I'm not promising anything.
Axel!
Okay, no promises. Just get on with it.
He's been sat there for fuck knows how long, taking that out.
Sorry, then.
Wow. I am strong.
Hey, Ratchet in the chat. Hello, everyone. Jesus,
I've gone and pressed drive, Matt. How the fuck do I get out of there?
Options, return to garage.
Option doesn't work.
Options is the button on your controller.
Yeah,
I know what the button is, you fucker. It doesn't work.
Well, then you'll have to close the game and rejoin the lobby.
Oh, fuck off, really?
Well, if you can't press options, how else are you going to press return to garage?
Well, it doesn't work. Options doesn't work.
Go.
How does your
Do you
options
know-
button not work?
I don't know, Matthew.
The button to the right of the touchpad.
I know what it is, you fucking
Well, then the only
lawnmower
way to get
lover.
back into the garage is literally to close the game and come back in.
Fuck off, innit?
I know what it is, you fucking helmet.
You're fucking... I quite like Lawnmower Lover. I thought I quite enjoyed that one, actually. Right. Fucking hell. Fuck's sake.
Don't press drive then.
Oh, yeah, no shit.
Dean can follow simple instructions.
No, he can't. No, he fucking can't.
I tried.
He can follow simple.
Well, I think even that's a struggle at times.
Yeah, probably.
You only follow it because that's following himself.
Oh, dear.
Right, that is me gonna start streaming and dive into another chat.
You know it's bad when you'd rather hang out and chat with Bozzy than you would with fucking Dean, innit?
Stop banging around like
Yeah, that's pretty shit, yeah. You
It's
start...
his bedtime enough now, I tell him.
Your bedtime
Start
half
choosing
an
the different
hour.
people in your friend circle.
You
I shall see you later, boys.
see you later, dude.
Good luck,
I
mate.
can struggle.
You say
I'll need it.
friend circle. I say acquaintances.
Acquaintances. Well, you're the one who keeps talking to him. Or used to.
Not spoke to Dean in nearly a year, to be fair, mate.
Oh, fucking
Although
hell,
actually,
well done, man.
I tell you what, I did message him mid-January. Wigan knocked the Stags out of the FA Cup, and I did chirp up to him. He gave me a bit of grief when Stags beat Wigan last year. And I went, are you still in the FA Cup? And he texts me back, no. And I went, oh yeah, you lost to us. And didn't hear from him. And then he tried to message me 3 days later, so I ignored him. Making a comeback though, Kelly. He keeps coming in my streams when I'm streaming. He keeps typing that he's making a comeback. He might have to get the wheel out, and never does. So, yeah. But right, I'm going to jump into the comms box. Daz, have good luck. Like I say, Gary might miss race 1. Should be F race 2. He might miss the whole evening.
Okay.
All right,
you
dude.
never know.
Target for him anyway.
Yeah, no worries, dude. Catch you later, boys.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Toodaloo.
Right, suppose I better move to the comms box as well then if I'm going to fucking
Yes.
talk about something.
I'll see you later, Kel.
Yeah, hang on, I haven't fucking worked out.
You'll be needed if she plops, mate, while I'm doing this. Yeah, I did just gather that one, actually, now I've thought about it. So, I don't know how we're going to do it.
Hello!
Benrook 50th race start. Most successful around this circuit is Andy.
Have you got your stats in front of you, Matt?
I have, yes.
Excellent. Can you tell me can you reel off a couple of lap times for me?
Lap records.
Yes.
Pro lap record in qualifying is a 2:18.1 by over...
No, I'm not interested in here. I'm talking about Imola.
Oh, Imola.
Imola. Actually, Pro-Am.
Yeah, Pro-Am lap.
Pro-Am.
Fastest lap Pro-Am Monkey Boy with a 1:45.2.
Oh, fuck me, I'm not far from that. No, I've beaten that.
There we go then.
Oh, fuck me, yes. I'm in the 44s. Excellent. Watkins Glen.
I don't know if I've got stats for Watkins Glen. Did we ever race it on Project Cars? We did. Laney with a 1:43.2.
143.2. Is that on Project or on here?
That will be Project Cars, yeah. 'Cause I've not been able to
okay,
update
so-
it for ACC yet.
And Donny.
And Donny Park, that may be updated, or it will be updated by the time we get to it. Donny GP, that's Donny National, Donny GP. 1:29.0 done by Alfie.
And can match that as well.
Yeah.
He actually...
Some tracks Project
Yes.
Cars is quicker, some tracks Project Cars is slower, some tracks they are the same.
So all those times, Watkins is Project.
They're all
but
Project.
Imola,
Imola
they're all
and-
Project.
Yeah, at the minute, yeah.
Right, so you haven't got times for here.
Without going through all the sim grid, no, not yet. But I can find them out next week, maybe, and drop you a message with for him.
Okay, yeah.
No worries, I'll get that sorted.
Excellent.
Did John get me that video? I'll just get it up just in case, dude, and we'll see what happens.
Right, I'm going to have a pee
Yeah, I forgot about that. We had a problem with the entry server list. No worries, Kelly. I'll start when you get back.
Yeah,
seeing
5
as
minutes,
there's-
something.
Yeah, there's a bit of time after practice. No worries, dude. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yep, that's fine, dude. Ben Rook. Right. Fucking Honda PM. Hey. Fucking. I'm still coming. There's just a long train of come. Right, so I want to go back to that records of Spa. I want to know. I assume Dan's got the track info changed yet. Yeah. Don't do the pointer. Properties, browse, downloads, that. Bang. Is that on full screen? It is on full screen. Superb. Right. Yeah, we'll sort it, dude. Yeah, you have to leave now, I reckon. Right. Okay. Just gonna wait for Kelly. Still a couple of minutes
Yeah,
left.
right.
Right.
Before you go flying off, just remind me what will happen if you have to leave.
If I have to leave, we'll have to get PN onto the server, and PN will do your cameras, and we'll
Right.
sort of follow from what you're saying, and we can do it that way. If I leave, I won't be able to go to a break screen or anything, so you'll be live constantly.
Okay.
When you are ready to end the stream, just say you're going to end it. There will be no end screen. I'll have to log into YouTube through my phone and just end it through YouTube itself, not through Streamlabs.
Right. Okay.
Chances are I'm probably not going to have to go, because at the minute, yes, they've got worse and they're
Sheila
lasted
fine.
about 50. She's not. She's having contractions like mad. She has been since Tuesday. But the hospital want 3 contractions in 10 minutes, multiple times before she goes in.
Okay.
She's having 2 contractions every 7 minutes at the minute. So she's having 3 in 14 minutes. Which isn't close enough, they're saying, so nothing can be done. So
if they reckon. Yeah.
that's what, yeah.
Yeah, what do we know, eh?
Well, this is it. She was in hospital on Tuesday. I had to miss race 2 of GT4 because she went to hospital, and because she rang them up and they told her to come in for a checkup and everything, and that was the situation. So yeah, it is what it is. Right, let's get into this. I'll give us a count on a 5-4 and then we'll go again. So 5, 4. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport. It is week 2 for the Pro Series. It is time for these guys to go through the Ardennes Forest here at Spa-Francorchamps and take to this fantastic track. You may have seen the chaos of last night and what happened in that Pro-Am race, and it was carnage up El Rouge and Radion in that reverse grid race. These pro boys, that little bit more experience, that little bit more racecraft, will hopefully now be able to not have any carnage. I'm Matthew Duffin, joined in the box once again by my partner in crime for this season. That is Kelly Davis. And Kelly, the first thing I suppose we need to notice is the grid is nowhere near as close as it was last week.
No, absolutely not, Matt. And good evening, everyone. Welcome along. It's Thursday night and best night of the week, pro night. Yes, Matt, you're quite right. Where we had a second covering the top 20 nearly last week, that second is only got down to the top 9. And we've got at this time 3.5 tenths away from first and second. So, but it is a longer track.
It is a longer track. 2 minutes 16.5 is currently the fastest lap out there, done by our championship leader of Tardock. And let's not forget as well, this will be the first week that the drop scores will take account. So at the moment, the championship standings look like this. It is Tardock who leads the way from Sylph in second. Hoopert is in third place. Dan Davis is P4 with Michael Harris fifth. Sixth is Kieran O'Reilly with Mike Matthews seventh. Ben Rook is P8. Overtaker ninth. Skunky 10th. Tobias Hoffer P11. Sky Schundelmeyer in 12th with Viper in 13th. McGowan, Clouden, Matt Wright, Gary Leach, Unsworth, Ledger, O'Brien, Darren Yo, Ethan Coe, Joe Bates and Molly round out those who have scored points. Richard Beasley, Rosnov, San, Richie, Newman, Burton, Collin, Croyce, Gorb and Pocket without scoring points at the moment. So that is the state of play there. And in the Constructors' Championship, it is the MSA Racing boys of Tardock and Sylph who lead the way by 83 points from Team Audio Sport, with SimPlay Racing sat in third. The Old School Racers are fourth from Greasy Bandits Racing. Team FBR, Quantum Motorsport, Scuderia Tempesta, Team SPR, Effect Motorsport and Red Rum Racing. Xbox are absolutely blowing PlayStation out of the water in the console battle. That is over. That is nearly 1,500 points lead already for Xbox. And in the Manufacturers' Championship, it is McLaren 33 points clear of Porsche, with BMW, Ferrari, Mercedes, Ginetta, Ford, Aston Martin, Chevrolet, Alpine, Lamborghini, Bentley, Nissan, Honda, Audi, Lexus, rounding out the 16 manufacturers that we have on display for you this season. The talking points then of the Ardennes Forest was a really good GT4 race by all accounts. So sadly I had to miss the second race due to personal reasons, but watching the stream back, it looked an absolutely fantastic race in both races. GT4 was I suppose, Kelly, what we like to call Pro-Am as very Pro-Am. It was chaos all the way through the night. What are we expecting from these pro drivers? Because, you know, these are the best of the best at SimPlay Motorsport, and a lot of people have been saying in the Discord recently that SimPlay, one of the best console leagues around at this moment in time. So with that being said, you'd imagine we've got the best drivers on the console at the moment.
Well, mate, funny things, drivers. Funny things. And funnily enough, they're all egotistical and all want to win. So up the hill to Radion and Eau Rouge is lap one. It could go anyway. It could go neat and tidy, or it could be carnage. So probably best to stick around and stay tuned to find out, because anything could happen. Just because it's pro night doesn't always mean they're going to drive like pros. And
it's a bizarre one, isn't it, Kelly? Because the start-finish line is your traditional start-finish line when you end the race. The start line is, like you say, Eau Rouge and Radion becomes turn 1, 2 and 3 effectively. So really tricky, especially when we look at the first week of reverse grids.
Absolutely, and you're going to have 25 cars flat out in that first lap coming down the hill and up towards Eau Rouge. 25 cars with what should be the slowest one at the front and the fastest one at the back. So it's exciting, isn't it?
It's going to be an interesting one, to say the least. You want to know a bit more about Spa? We can show you just that now. It is 4.352 miles, 7.004 kilometres in length, 19 corners, 9 to the left and 10 to the right. Pole position usually starts on the right-hand side. The ACC lap records, this is the fastest lap set on ACC, whether that is PC, Xbox or PlayStation, is a 2-minute 14.9 done by a Ford Mustang GT3. The most successful drivers at SimPlay Motorsport on this circuit is Dan Davis and Overtaker. And just looking at my notepad in front of me as well, Andy, remember the name from a few seasons ago back in his BMW M6? He is tied with them two. He just didn't make that list due to the fact he is sort of inactive from driving at the moment. So he's also there on 2 poles and 2 wins. Our lap record, which goes way back to the Project Cars 2 days, is a 2:18.1 and a 2:18.6 for the race. Both done by Overtaker, who is now in that Ford Mustang. And we saw, Kelly, that the Ford Mustang is the best car or has set the fastest lap around this circuit for good reason. When we look at the bop and we look at who is bopped with what, Ford Mustang carries 27 kilograms. The next heaviest car is the McLaren Evo and the Nissan GT3, which only carry 9, going to show how strong the Ford is around here.
Yeah, absolutely, yes, and it made a good showing last week as well. So this Ford Mustang seems to be quite the car, doesn't it? And we're seeing now that the topping the tables is Overtaker in that Ford Mustang, as you said, with the 2:16.4. So and it's going to be interesting tonight. That's for certain sure. Dan Davis is the other most successful driver around here. Is in 7th at the moment, but of course this is only practice.
This is only practice. For those who want to know the rest of the bops, so the McLaren Evo 9, Nissan 9, Ferrari will carry 6, the BMW M4 drivers will carry 6 kilograms. If you're in the Porsche 992, like Dan and like Sky Schundelmeyer and like Gorb, you'll be carrying that of 3 kilograms. So not really a lot of weight on board that. For the Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2 drivers of Patrick Ledger, you actually lose 5 kilograms, so a little bit lighter. The Aston Martin drivers of Ben will be 7 kilograms lighter. The Honda NSX Evo of O'Reilly, you will be 20 kilograms lighter. the Bentley Continental, you'll be 21 kilograms lighter, and Gary's Lexus will be 20 kilograms lighter. So a lot of difference there throughout. What I will say is, for the likes of like Dan and Ledger, Dan Tibbs, Gorb and Ledger in the Porsche and Lamborghini, 3 and 5 kilograms isn't a lot to gain and lose, but it's enough to just feel the difference.
Yes, I would say so. Yeah, absolutely. And it's an interesting system, this BOP system. It's the way it kind of levels things up. I haven't driven with this in place, so I can imagine it's interesting.
It is interesting. One thing that's going to be interesting, by the way, we know this back from the PS4 days of ACC, when Mike Matthews and Nauris Plavins was teamed at SimPlay Racing. They couldn't do Eau Rouge and Radion in that Honda. For some reason, the car seems to bottom out as it comes up through the corner, and it seems to just lose all... The back end just goes light, round it goes, it will snap on you and into the wall. It can do it. We've seen that O'Reilly's P5. It's that consistency, and in testing, O'Reilly seems to have struggled. But while we mention the Honda NSX, it only feels right and fitting, Kelly.
Yes. Go on.
That we mention that it is on the British GT grid for this season. So for any British GT fans this season, you would have seen today's announcement that the Honda NSX Evo will be on the British GT grid. It's the first time I've mentioned it today, and it'll be the last time I mention it today, but I'm excited because I tell you what, Kelly, we take inspiration from the GT racing in the real world. We always have done at SimPlay Motorsport. You look at the British GT grid this season: Porsche 992 for its first full year, Ferrari 296 for its first full year, Corvette for its first full year, Honda NSX, as well as then returning Aston Martin V8 Evo, the new car, the BMW M4 Evo, new car for this year, Lamborghini Evo 2, McLaren 720S Evo. It expands that horizon of more manufacturers coming into a British Championship, more cars on a British grid. It's just nice to see, a British series, which is not really a big British series, branch out and be able to attract these manufacturers to come over.
What I'm really impressed with is how you managed to mention the Honda and then keep talking enough so you didn't give me a chance to take the mic.
20 seconds.
Good, isn't it?
Well done.
Hey, brilliant.
Excellent, well done.
Hey,
yeah.
It's as if I've
you must
learned.
Be a professional.
It's as if I've learned over the years that you will just mock me for it.
Absolutely, and as a professional commentator that you are, I thought that was extremely clever, much cleverer than last week.
Who would never dare swear on a stream, much like last week?
Absolutely not. Of course not. wouldn't think of it. It is. The British GT is shaping up into a brilliant series once again, and always has been, to be fair. And as you say, we base ourselves off this. We're on the grid, Matt.
We are on the grid indeed. It's a long formation lap in which Gorb, making his debut tonight, will take us away. And what we can do is show you the brilliant work that our very own John Gooday has done for us, and we can take you through the lovely little video of the reverse grid coming up for you now. And as you can see, the order will go like this. Now, I do believe there is meant to be 26 cars, so someone is missing, but Gorb will line up alongside E. Colin, who is the one who is missing. So everybody behind Colin will move up a place, which means P2 will now be N. San from Richard Beasley running P3 now. Good position for him, missed last week, he's in a good spot there. S. Molly will be in P5 with Darren Yeo in P6, or P5, 4 and 5, sorry. P6 will be Patrick Ledger, P7 Fraser O'Brien. P8 will be Scott Unsworth with Matt Wright in P10. If you're wondering why, P8 and 9, if you're wondering why they're wrong again, E. Colin missed the start, so he is not here. Jamal Clouden going from 10th, Liam McGowan P11. Viper will then be in 12th with Sky Shundelmeyer, Sky Shundelmeyer in 13th place. Tobias Hoffer will go from 14th in the Bentley. Overtaker will go from Tobias Hoffer 15. Overtaker will be in 16th place. 17th then will be that of Ben Rook with Mike Matthews down in 19th. 20th place for Kieran O'Reilly. 21st will be that of Michael Harris lining up alongside O'Reilly. Dan Davis will then, 20th for Harris, 21st will be Dan Davis lining up alongside Silf this time round, who is 21st. Hoopert will be going from 22nd and Tordock 24th. Gary Leach 25th. He has missed the start and is looking to be in race 1. I was told he may not make the start of race 1, but he is here, so that is great to see. That then is your grid order for this one.
Absolutely. Quick hello to everyone in the chat. Keep your messages coming. We love to read your messages and we love the interaction of it. So keep them coming. This is going to be interesting. All the quick guys at the back. It's a 20-minute race around a quick track. And we haven't even talked about the losses in the pit stops.
We haven't talked about the losses in the pit stops. We'll get into them as the races come, because that could be, especially in race 2, that could be a real game changer. Other is currently what leading the way in the vote for drivers to win. If you have voted other, please let us know who is the other driver you think will win. Richard Beasley, Gorb, San and other. Other is leading the way, but please let us know who you think. Rob Smith says Unsworth for the win. Tracy saying everybody hit that like button. Beto, my favourite track now since yesterday. And what a story for Beto. He's done league racing for a while, I'm led to believe. Yesterday was his first ever league podium in a race. So congratulations to him. That's what the reverse grid is there for, Kelly.
Absolutely, yeah, it's to mix things up. It certainly will. I'm going somewhere around Cloudon or McGowan, somewhere like that. I reckon have got a good shout there from, they're only 8th or 9th back on the grid. 10th and 11th. Viper, Skunky, they're all very quick guys. And they're not that far away from the front, where the likes of Dan Harris and Hooper and so on and so forth are a long way back. So it's going to be really interesting to watch this one.
I fancy Richard Beasley. He was meant to be here last week, but I'd set the dogs to the vets and missed last week. That's why he's starting towards the front. I think Richard's a really quick guy. We haven't seen the best of him in recent seasons. Obviously, last year he had a lot of Xbox problems. When the servers went down, it removed all his online access. So he's managed to get everything back. I'm going for Richard Beasley. I fancy him. I think he could be the guy to keep our eyes on in this race at the moment, but let's wait and see. We still have quite the way to go as well, Kelly, because the traditional start line, like we've said, isn't where this starts the race. Tracy saying Sky for the wing. Paul Williams in the chat saying evening everyone, clean on that one tonight over last night. And if you missed that last night, go back and check it out. Dan Davis, fantastic job on his own. Lexi's having internet problems, so we hope she's back for next week race especially. But what an incident that was. Put it this way, of all the big tanks you wouldn't think to have lifted off the floor, it was Kieran Argent's Bentley that was flying through the sky.
I haven't yet to watch last night's race, but I will go back and watch it. You can watch all the races on YouTube. Every single one of them's there, I think.
They are there. Every single one that we've ever done is on our YouTube channel. Make sure you go back and watch that. One of the things SimPlay Motorsport pride themselves on is bringing you every piece of action on the circuit around here as possible. We are coming down towards the start line now then. For the first time, obviously, Spa-Francorchamps in the GT3s, famous for the Spa 24-hour. It's going to be famous tonight for the SimPlay Pro Series as it's green and go for round 3 of the season. It's a beautiful start from Gorb. A little hesitant on the second row maybe from a few of the cars behind as they all come up. El Rouge and Radion now all being able to be very patient and very well behaved as they all come filtering through. We just tumble down the order and there's contact and there's 1, 2 in the wall. A couple of Ferraris. It's all the Ferraris that are off and having the problem. McGowan looks like he was one. Mike Matthews caught up in that. I believe Darren Yeo was also one of the drivers involved in the dramas, but you have to say
there's more.
There is more. Is that more down at the back? Let's have a look further down then. Just try and see who we're picking up. Sylph looks like he was involved in that one, as was Skunky. McGowan in there, Unsworth in there, Fraser O'Brien, he's been frazzled for the first time tonight, and this could be an interesting one to go through. But Gorb, Kelly, out front, good couple of seconds gap back to Richard Beasley already. He got a decent start, looked like others was hesitant behind him.
Yes, indeed. I was watching the back as you were watching up the front, so I saw that all kind of start. I don't know who started it, but there was loads of cars involved. But getting through unscathed was some of the front runners. Tordak, Dan, Hubert all got through unscathed. Mike Matthews went backwards. Harris went backwards. McGowan, as we said. But Overtaker as well, up to 12th at the moment. So some people worked out nicely for some of them.
It did
Brothers
indeed.
It didn't. That's racing.
That is racing. As we come through the second sector, it's Gorb with Richard Beasley chasing him down. Then it is San from Morley, Patrick Ledger P5, Matt Wright's in 6th, Jamal Cloudon up to 7th with Sky Schundelmeyer in 8th. Then it's Viper, Tobias Hoffer P10, Overtaker. And look at this gaggle of cars right on the back of Ben Rook here. Darren Yeo's involved, and O'Reilly and Darren Yeo have it coming together, and that's put them into the path of someone else. I'm not sure what happened there, and Darren Yeo spun around, but Sky Schundelmeyer there very, very very wide off the circuit as Tobias Hoffenau comes right around the outside of Schundelmeyer, and through he goes. And look at these two once again, Kelly. Dan versus... sorry, no, that's not Dan. That is Ben Rook getting past Overtaker. And if I'm correct there, as they come through, I am correct, Overtaker does have a bit of front damage on that Ford Mustang. The bonnet just lifted up slightly.
Yeah, looking like damage on the front of Overtaker's cars. He's got Dan now right behind him as well. So Overtaker not having the race that
Dan's got damage.
Looking for. Dan's got damage as well. Yeah, I think he sustained that from that first incident because he's had that damage since the beginning. But all close in this one. Tordok's gone back a few places there. I don't know if he got caught up in that Darren Yeo incident, as Dan's having a look.
Yeah, there we go. Dan Davis on Overtaker down the Kemmel straight, down to the outside of Radion. That Ford Mustang got that grunt in a straight line, but you feel that the damage to Overtaker's car is what is hurting it. And down in towards Lecombe for the second time. Overtaker trying to come back up the inside, as that was a very deep hooper there, as O'Reilly gets back ahead of him. But Dan Davis ahead of Overtaker. Good move, and he got the run up Eau Rouge and Radion. Dan a little wide onto the curb now, as we've got O'Reilly defending in the background. Then from Hoopert already, O'Reilly covers the inside line coming through the hairpin corner and manages to cover that one off. And Hoopert is going to have to try another way, as is Silf and Tordok. Then the other two, who out of the three Mustangs was all doing really well last week, they're down the back of the order. And welcome to reverse grid racing here at SimPlay Motorsport. Overtaker's not let this one go from Dan yet, but you feel that he's slowly falling back. Look, into the clutches of O'Reilly now is Overtaker. That damage, Kelly, seems worse than what it may look.
Yeah, Overtaker's going to start looking in his mirrors instead of looking forward, because O'Reilly's all over him like a cheap suit. And having a look down the inside, and they touch, and they both go round, Matt. They both go round, and O'Reilly and Overtaker have recovered, but it's dropped them back a couple of places, cost them 3 or 4 places for that touch.
Yeah, O'Reilly lost 4 places there. Overtaker only lost the 3, and that's going to be an interesting one that'll probably go into the steward's room, I'd imagine there. Didn't quite clearly see who was at fault. Was that O'Reilly's? Maybe a bit of a dive bomb that caught Overtaker out, or did Overtaker turn in? Unclear at the moment, but look how much Overtaker is just struggling at the moment, Kelly. And through O'Reilly comes and Michael Harris, and now Overtaker gives O'Reilly a bit of a flash of the lights as they come in towards Blanchimont. Overtaker's just got no pace in that Ford Mustang. Whatever that damage is, it is massively significant at the moment, and he is struggling so far. As he's going to come round into the pit lane. McGowan, Darren Yeo, Skunky and Unsworth all in the pits, and Overtaker, look, he can't get into the pit lane yet, Kelly, because the pit window hasn't opened. But if you're Mike Matthews, who's just had a bit of a yellow flag moment, and he's still off mic, he's struggling to turn that car right, Kelly. But that'll be of his bonus, because look, he can peel into the pits. You've got to be in the pit lane before the pit window opens, and look at where Mike Matthews is heading. The pit lane hasn't started yet. It starts... a bit of a stop there for Mike Matthews, as he would have missed it by a second or two. So Mike Matthews just having to stop a little bit. Let's go back out front though. Richard Beasley still not able to get past Gorb at the moment. Gorb's doing a cracking job out front. Then it's San, Patrick Ledger, Molly, Matt Wright, Jamal Cloud, and the top 7 covered by not a lot here, Kelly, at all, as Matt Wright's looking up the inside of Molly, coming through the the right-hander. Down the hill they'll drop towards the hairpin corner. Molly just ahead of Matt Wright. Matt Wright sticking Godzilla's nose up the inside, then through the hairpin they come just before No Name. Stop-go penalty for car 302. Who is that for? That is Skunky. Well, you was mentioning the pit stop times, Kelly. Speeding in the pit lane for a stop-go penalty.
Pit lane, is it? Yeah.
But that 30 seconds stop-go penalty is going to cost him another 92 seconds in the pits, and he's got to do his pit stop. Well,
that's his race over.
That is his race well and truly over, as Molly's been passed by Matt Wright. Now he's got Jamal Clouden Hassel in the back of him here then as they come through. Mike Matthews, don't forget, first car into the pits when the pit window opens, so he's already made that call to come in.
Indeed, and the 3 Mustangs of Hoopert and Tardok and Silth are all over the back of Dan. Dan seems to be struggling for ultimate pace against these 3. They're ganging up on the back of the Porsche. And Hubert having a look down the inside as they're on the fast section out the back of the circuit, coming down to the bus stop chicane. And Hubert backs out of it a little bit as they go round the corner. Dan goes a little bit wide, but he's got the inside line for the bus stop chicane. Hubert's going to try and go right round the outside and makes it stick. into the second part of the chicane. Dan's in the pits.
Well,
Hubert went into the pit.
he's just
what was
tapped
that
Dan.
about?
He's just tapped
He
Dan.
has.
So that was a pit
He
lane
just tapped-
entry cut, and he tapped the
Yes.
rear of Dan. I reckon that'll be a ticket
look at all this
straight in as a gaggle are all in.
Yeah, and it should be.
What I will say there, Kelly, by the way, Dan Davis, if he didn't have a lift through Blanchemont, he was very wide over the curb. That could have
Yes.
easily pinged a track limits, Kelly, which is another talking point of tonight. Track limits is going to be a huge issue. Now, for these drivers pitting, 92 seconds is for a tyre change. 87 seconds will be for the mandatory pit stop to be completed. That is for in and out, as well as 25 seconds stationary. These drivers may have a lot of damage to repair. If you're Gary Leach, you could be laughing at the moment, who had a pit lane start because he missed the start. He could be gaining on all of these. He's came into the box himself. This is going to be interesting. We're watching at the front though as Richard Beasley is on the back of Gorb now and he's trying to put the pressure on him. We did see Sky Schundelmeyer as well attack the back of Molly. Molly pitted during that, so I'm not sure if Sky Schundelmeyer passed Molly before or after Molly had gone into the pits, but the Bentley of Hoffer has lost out to Tardok at the moment, as we're seeing some comments in the stream here. That was Swindle Max saying, oh man, I can only assume that is based over that pit entry by Hoopert.
Yeah, that pit entry was interesting. We'd like to see that one again. He looked like he changed his mind and then decided to dive into the pits. Dan was already in the lane, and then all of a sudden Hubert comes across. They're all just now coming to a standstill. So many people in the pit, and Cloudon's away. And he was one of the first ones to come into the pits, wasn't he? And
he was.
And San is away as well.
He was just behind Molly, so Molly's having a longer stop. Mike Matthews, I'm noting, Kelly, hasn't completed his pit stop, so I'm wondering if he didn't add fuel and he just repaired the damage to get the car fixed 25 seconds quicker, because it will only hold you 25 seconds if you add 1 litre of fuel. So just looking at it, Cloudon jumped San in the pits as well, so Cloudon's out the pit lane. San and Molly's been jumped by an absolute kipper as well. Ben Rooks got past him. Dan Davis has came out. Dan's had a good stop. He's came out on the back of that.
His teammate.
Of who is that? Is that that's San? So Dan Davis, great pit stop there. He cleared Ben. He hasn't repaired the damage though, Kelly. So possibly, just trying to damage limitations in this race, get that quicker pit stop by not repairing the damage. You just see that bonnet just lifted ever so slightly on Dan's car. It's just bouncing around a little bit. That'll be losing him some straight line performance. And for Dan Davis here, well, he's got to try and put some cars between him and his rivals at the moment. Stop go cleared for Skunky. You want to know the bad news if you're Skunky? You've still got to pit.
Yeah, absolutely, and as I say, it's over for Skunky with that mistake. But yeah, you're right, Dan.
Oh, change for the lead.
Probably Beasley. Yes, Beasley out in front now. And Gord's just behind him. I thought we'd lost him, but when he changed cameras, I saw that he was still there. Matt Wright's still in it as well. And which of these guys? Oh, whoa! Hang on a minute. What happened there? Somebody pulling off out of the way. These guys. We'll see how many of these pit. It's only they've only got 5 minutes left. Remember, it's a 2:20 race pace kind of lap, isn't it? So they've only got 4 minutes 44 to make their pit stop. So if they go another lap, they would be pushing that envelope a little bit, I think.
Well, Hoopert's got both Dan and that of San at the moment. He's got past both of them. I'm not sure where. Just noticed that had changed on the screens, and Dan Davis going around the outside of San at the first part of the chicane. He's now going to have the inside line for the second part, trying to open the door for Ben Rook. I don't think Ben's going to get that one done because San will have that inside line in towards La Source, and Dan Davis moves up another place. But also lost out to Hoopert on that lap. So Hoopert there gaining 2 places that time around. Ben Rook's now going to be the one to try and get past San if he possibly can. Schundelmeyer and Tobias Hoffer are exiting the pit lane now. Schundelmeyer's just come off his limiter, so this could be interesting actually to see where Schundelmeyer will come out.
Yeah, it's going to be tight.
It's going to be very tight. I say it's going to be tight, Kelly. He's up over Radion. There is Hoopert. There is Dan Davis. Schundelmeyer will be getting up to pace. The others will be massively up to pace. Look at the speed of the Ford had over the Porsche as the Porsche exited the pit lane. Clever from Schundelmeyer there to get in the slipstream of Hoopert as quick as he possibly could, as Dan Davis now going to try and look to make a move. But Ben Rook up the inside towards Lacombe on San. Move done for Ben Rook. O'Reilly tried to follow him through, but there wasn't the gap to do so as San had closed the doors, and Ben Rook now moving up another place. Dan's now got to clear the fellow Porsche, Sky Schundelmeyer.
Yes, indeed. Now San's got Riley all over the back of him. O'Reilly getting very racy now with Ensan is slipping backwards in that Ferrari.
Overtaker's back in the pit. Sorry, Kelly. Overtaker's back in again.
Yeah, again, another one whose race is over, really. So, as O'Reilly has gone down the inside of San and has made it stick, so he goes up a place and continues to fight. And Stealth has gone with him.
Yeah, he's followed him through.
He has, yeah. Poor old San dropping down the order really, really quickly now. So, who else we got in the pits? We've still got we've now got Tordak who's in the pits and Harris in the pits. In fact, everybody except Matt Wright, who's gonna run the gauntlet and try and go another lap.
Well, Ian McGowan's yet to pit as well, and Skunky and Unsworth down the order are both in the pits. And like you say, Matt Wright's running that gauntlet. I think he should do it. 2:20 left, and he's just coming through Puon at the moment. I can see on the track map. Going to just go forward back to Sky Schundelmeyer. In fact, Dan Davis, that damage is hurting Dan more than it's helping him here, because as Silph's about to go around the outside of O'Reilly at the bus stop chicane. O'Reilly's got damage to his core, runs a little deep and out of shape. Silph will get that one done. I think Dan's best. I say that Dan's just gained on Sky through that chicane. It's in a straight line where Dan's losing all that speed. He's definitely got aero performance on that car, because he's losing out to Ben and to Sky in the straights.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, Matt, if it was going to cost you another 15-20 seconds to repair that damage, where would that have put him? You know, put him way back off this whole group.
I think it would have put him.
You may have had a quick car again, but you might as well be in it and have track position.
The thing is, isn't it, is in the short sprint race, Kelly. This is the whole thing, isn't it? The short sprint race. Do you do the damage in the feature race?
Look at this lot.
In the feature race, you probably think, yes, I repair that damage, but look at this lot. Lap cars all over the place. Sky goes defensive as Dan now goes to the outside line. I get the feeling that that's Michael Harris who's come out the pits, who now is being hunted down. Who's that with? Actually, that's Michael Harris side by side through the com with Tordock in through the right-hander, and Harris just manages to keep that car in front, has enough. So now Dan had a problem through the com. He's dropped right off the back of Schundelmeyer, has now got Ben Wright on his rear with that of Silph and Tordock and O'Reilly. Great squabble here at the moment, but your race leader is Matt Wright, who is into the pits. I'm looking for Beasley's come out in 6th. He's had a nightmare of a pit stop. And where's Gorb? Gorb lost out to Ledger, but has gained. But Beasley's lost out to Hooper, Cloud, and Gorb and Ledger. Well, if you're Matt Wright, you could be sitting pretty here. Where is he? He's just gone through the source, so he's approaching his pit box now. Overtaker is still in the pit lane. So let's wait and see what will Overtaker do. But already not the start to his race he would have wanted. Quickest in practice. But again, Kelly, you can be the quickest in the practice. It's how you come through the pack.
Yeah, absolutely. Being quick over one lap isn't the be all and end all. It's about how you run your race. And Dan's kind of dropping forward and back on Schundelmeyer, and Tardock again still all over the back of Harris and can't find a way through. Is he going to send it up into the chicane? He's close enough. He looks to the outside. He's going to try and go right round the outside into the bus stop chicane. He's done the first bit, but Harris gives him room. Not a lot, but he gave him room, and it looks like Tardock's still on the outside. Schundelmeyer's in here as well. Dan with a watching brief over these three. Schundelmeyer's going to go through I thought he was going to go through the pair of them. Harris back down the inside.
No, Dale $8 short. Dale $8 short. Kelly run out of room.
Run out of road.
Yeah, he's going to rejoin, and this could be interesting. Tucks in behind Dan, so that's where Harris is now. This is going to be interesting then. The run Harris can get over Dan up Eau Rouge. We know that Porsche lacks a bit in a straight line compared to other cars. Both cars look heavily damaged. Harris a lot of track limits. Dan maybe got a ping there for the exit of Radion. Now look at this up and over the straight. Dan and Michael Harris at the moment. Dan's gaining on Schundelmeyer. Harris is gaining on Dan. Silph is gaining on Harris. Up they come. Dan just covers that middle line of the road. Here comes Silph. Has a look on the pair of them as Harris maybe thinks of the outside line again. Runs a little deep and just drops off the back of Dan Davis now. So at the moment it is it's really ebbing and flowing between this mid-pack, really just outside for that final top 10 position.
Absolutely, and I don't think we've had an ebbing and flowing all season, so good to see it make a comeback.
It is indeed. As look at the leaders here. Patrick Ledger in the Lamborghini with Matt Wright currently sitting on the podium in the Nissan. Jamal Clouden just behind him, sat in that P3 place at the moment. But Gorb and Hooper are behind. Hooper has got the fastest lap of the race in 5th place. He's on the back of Gorb coming through Puon. And I tell you what, Hooper I think has looked the best out of the 4 Fords today.
Absolutely, yes. He's certainly made the best progress, made the best of everything. There's this whole group behind Schundelmeyer now, and Tardot pulling away quite quickly from Schundelmeyer. So these Mustangs are rapid, absolutely rapid.
Well, Hoopert's got the run underneath Gorb, just coming out of Stavolo, then down towards Blanchimont for the 6th time of asking. In fact, I say he's got side by side with him. That Ford now just creeps in front of Gorb as they come and enter in towards Blanchimont. But just further forward, Clouden is right on the back of Matt Wright.
I was just about to mention that one. Clouden is all over the back of Matt Wright. Not close enough to send it into the chicane, but really, really close and looking to take another position. This Ledger's looking in a good position, but this race ain't done yet.
This race isn't done yet. 2 minutes 24 left of it. Ledger's got 1 second lead, and the thing for Ledger is he's probably, like you say, sat in the best position here for Hoopert at the moment. This is going to be an interesting one because he's now clearly got pace. He was the fastest man on the track. Tardot now is. Hoopert can come after Clouden. There may be 2 laps left here. 2:24 is the lead across the line. That could be enough for another lap in this race. But look at the power of Godzilla coming down the Camel Straight. Bit of track limits maybe coming up Pro El Rouge and over Radion. But look at how quick that Nissan pulls away from the McLaren.
Absolutely. I'm further back still watching this race. Schundelmeyer, Davis, Silth, Harris and Rook all in this one in close company, all fighting over 8th, 9th and 10th places, so on and so forth, because Tardot has checked out from this group now.
Yeah, I'd like to say that the trolley train sat behind Sky Schundelmeyer, but Dan is, like we said earlier, he seems to get onto the back of Schundelmeyer, then drops back into the pack a little bit. That I don't know if Tibbs is, that Schundelmeyer is the trolley train, or whether these three are all just kind of matching each other's pace. Out front, though, Matt Wright has now lost out once again to Ledger and has got Clouden breathing down his neck a little bit more at the moment. Hoopert's 2.6 behind. Well worth keeping an eye on that, just in case there is another lap, with these three getting very close out front. Close. This could go anybody's way here, Kelly, for the race win.
Absolutely. Just quickly looked at the chat. Enplava, yes, you're quite right. It is the one and only Kelly Davis back in the comms box, sweet and sticky in your box, where we should be.
Yeah, been a while, and it's great to be back in the commentary box once again. And as we enter towards Blanchimont, the race leaders all coming through now. This is going to be an interesting stage of this race. Will the likes of Ledger be able to hang on to it? Can Clouden do anything about second place? What about then that of Matt Wright as well? Can Hoopert get any closer as they enter into the bus stop chicane? 17 seconds left on the clock. This is definitely going to be one more lap of racing.
Yep.
Which adds then extra pressure if you're on a couple of track limits warnings already.
It certainly does, and I'm sure Legend wanted to see that come to an end about 10 seconds ago, but we go another lap, and Clouden looking racy on this one. He can see first place, he can see it's just there, just a couple of car lengths in front as they go down into Eau Rouge for the last time in this race.
Indeed it is, as Matt Wright up and over Radion, very twitchy through there. Look at Godzilla, he gets the run on the Lamborghini Evo 2, and it's Wright versus this of Patrick Ledger. To the outside goes the Nissan of Matt Wright. To the outside, look at it pull down the straight. It's already in front of Ledger as Ledger tucks in behind. Matt Wright leads this race on the final lap of it. Through Les Combes they go. He's now got to keep it within them track limits. Hoopert isn't a million miles away, and can Clouden now maybe sniff a P2? A dismal Brands Hatch by Jamal Clouden standards, as Ledger does have a look, but Matt Wright's actually a bit further in front than what I think it seemed there. Ledger's just got to try and hang on for a P2. He took about 3 reverse grid race wins last season, did Patrick Ledger. It doesn't look like it's going to be one tonight, but my God, will he want to hang on for that second place?
Yes, as I said, I'm sure he wishes the race had ended half a minute ago, but it didn't. And the power down the Camel Straight for that GTR just got him. Now Clouden's all over the back of him. This could go really badly for Ledger, as Clouden has a look down the inside, but not close enough. And Ledger's just try and hang on to that second place. Quick racing, intense racing still towards the end of this, this race, and It's all going now.
This is where you never say never, never give up, never back out. And what a job for Matt Wright in this race at the moment. So far doing the job that he needed to do. We're just going to stick with Jamal Clouden and Patrick Ledger at the moment. We'll jump to Matt Wright as we enter the chicane. But Clouden through Blanchimont, pretty much pushing. I thought he lost the rear there. And who's out with a drive-through penalty? Dan Davis for track limits.
No.
Well, that's a disaster, because that'll be at least, I believe it is 80 seconds added to his race time at the end because of how long the pit lane is. But Matt Wright will win from Patrick Ledger. Jamal Clouden, scary moments at the end, fends off that of Hoopert. Gorby's going to take a P5 on debut, and then Sky Schundelmeyer leads home the trade of Tordock, Harris, Sylph, Ben Ruck, Kieran O'Reilly, Dan Davis with a drive through, Richard Beasley, who had a terrible pit stop, dropped down to 13th, Tobias Hoffer. Then it is going to be that of San Molly. Gary Leach from the pit lane is actually still coming round. It's Mike Matthews who's still got to do something at the moment. Unsworth has already finished down in 25th, and then that of Skunky, whose season didn't start well in the GT4s. It didn't start massively great. It was okay last week. It's not started that well here tonight. He's down in 24th. Overtaker though, fastest lap of the race. So he has stole the point for the fastest lap, but I mean, at the end of the day, that could all be in vain, as you know, drop scores kick in. If this is his drop score, the fastest lap will count for nothing.
Absolutely. So Dan with an 80-second penalty because he was on the last lap and he didn't take that drive through. But 80 seconds gets added to his time, which makes. I'm sure he'll be very, very annoyed about that.
I'm not sure where that. Well, we're not sure where that puts him at the moment, because Viper's finishing. I think he's got to be thankful that Mike Matthews wasn't on the lead lap as Viper comes across the line, which is great for Fraser O'Brien and for that of Darren Yeo and for Overtaker. But what a race one it was. We'll see where Dan Davis finishes in just a moment, as it will come up on the screen when everybody has crossed the line. And Overtaker fastest lap, but like we say, Kelly, could all be in vain at the end of the day.
Yes, it could be. It could be. This is the rich tapestry that makes up a championship, Matt.
Exactly. Points mean prizes, and obviously the drop score helps for drivers who does miss a round or two, or maybe has a bad week or two here or there, as Overtaker on the final car to finish. But Matt Wright, I'm sure he'll be delighted with that. An Overtaker,
I would be,
well, he spins across the line, and well, that's against the rules and regulations. As Dan Davis there, look, 18th place, lost out by 10 seconds to Viper. So even the 70-second penalty wouldn't have helped. But that then is race one. We'll be back in a few moments' time. Don't go anywhere. Says Dan Davis there, look, 18th place, lost out by 10 seconds to Viper, so even the 70-second penalty wouldn't have helped. But that then is race one. We'll be back in a few months' time. Don't go anywhere. Phil,
I take it we're out.
Yeah, we're out.
Yeah.
Can you raise a ticket against Overtaker, please? Don't fucking give a shit. Raise the ticket. I will do. I'll raise it if you want. But you are not to spin across the fucking line. It is a rule.
What about Hooper and his freaking pit entry?
That'll be down more to Dan reporting it. But I've got to check the rules if we can report it as a. I believe we can. To be fair, actually, you might want to raise that one. To be fair as well, Phil. I mean, I'm sure Dan will probably stick that straight in, because he got a twat from it as well. But yeah. Dan, so that was 18th for him. He'll be absolutely fuming. Ben 10th. Fraser. I'm just entering the points a second, dude. If he hasn't done it by the time I've done this, I'll sort it. Beasley, whatever happened to him in the pits? He fucking just down to 12th. Viper 17th. Tobias 13th. Another solid result for that Bentley.
How long have we got? 9 minutes. I'm going to go get a drink. I'll be back.
Yeah, no worries, dude. Gary Leach 16th as a result of that. Darren Yeo 22. Mike Matthews 19th. Kieran O'Reilly 11th. Jamal Clouden was 3rd. Nearly binned it at the end. Molly 15th. And San 14th. McGowan 20th. Hardock 7th, Sylph 9th, Gorb 5th, Hoopert 4th. Fastest lap by the way of Overtaker. Delete that, delete that. PlayStation lose out even more points to Xbox. Porsche are only 11 points behind McLaren. Yep, no worries. Right, so race director, incident report form, GT3 Pro, race 1, end of race, Overtaker, spinning over the line, caught on stream, submit. And then GT3 Pro, race 1, lap number not applicable, I can't remember. B, Hoopert, cutting pit entry, caught on stream. Okay. Claim ticket. Add Overtaker. At Overtaker. Reason for spinning over line. You know this is against rules and regulations. Please respond. Oh, hang on. GT3 Pro event at C Molly. At Frazzled, you both cannot qualify for this race. This one, claim / add user, Hoopert. Yeah, he'll be able to close him now, he's back. Right, back in 2 seconds, tell Kelly. What happened at the start?
Smashed the bets, mate.
Yeah, but why? Who?
I think it was O'Brien again.
Right. Okay. Get it in, Daz.
And then towards the end of that lap,
Yeah.
I'm back.
there was before we come on to the long fast sweeping right,
Yeah.
I just got fucking obliterated into the wall.
Just get him in, mate. That's all I can say. Just get him in.
Yeah, I know.
Alright, dude. I need to go in and speak to Mike. How's the missus doing, Gary?
Yeah, she's alright.
She's still in hospital?
No.
She home?
Yeah, she's at home.
Ah,
actually.
good, good,
Just made
good,
me
good.
a cup of tea, actually.
Ah, good girl. Good girl. Alright, I've got to go and speak to Mike, so I'll be back in a second.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, okay.
Alright, mate. What's the penalty for spinning over the line? I've raised 2 tickets from that race.
I thought I got through all that.
Yeah, unlucky.
I got clipped. I think it was O'Reilly that caught me, but I think he
Da-
clipped into
yeah, Daz thinks Fraser started the whole thing.
Mate, I nearly got through it. I was like, fucking come on. Then he had a minute 15 of damage. I was struggling, man. Fuck. And I was devil 1 second missed the window.
Yeah, bless you.
1 second.
Bless you. Right, I just want to go speak with Dan quickly. Oh, yeah.
Just try to keep time, try and deliver the pressure. DNF disconnected. Blue flags.
There we go. Overtake.
7.1 PR copy.
Copy and send it me, please. I don't care how fucking in a mood he was. He spun across the line, and it was caught on stream because he was the last one to finish. So,
Yeah. That's the rule.
copy. GT3 Pro tickets. That one. Paste. There you go. Right, I just want to quickly speak with Dan. Back in a sec. Best luck for race 2, dude.
Yeah, cheers.
Dan, you there? Did you get clipped in the pit entry? Yeah. I've already raised the ticket because it was a ridiculous cut. I have asked for your footage. I don't know if you've seen. So, when you can.
That whole race was fucking fun.
Yeah. I'm expecting a few tickets. Yeah. I've seen. Right, okay. I've already opened the ticket for it. So, yeah, just get them in because that race looked ridiculous again from drivers.
I don't know what. I was carrying 15 seconds worth of damage.
Yeah.
All that race because I had understeer, people driving dumb.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
No, it's just seemed to thingy.
Like I put in the chat, do people take a stupid pill when they race at Spa or something?
Yeah, one of them, dude.
Like,
I just thought to let you know that I've opened a ticket, so you don't have to open that one.
well, this is going to be my drop score anyway. So
Yeah, see what happens.
I was expecting to be shit here anyway.
Yeah, don't tell when drivers drive like penises.
Yeah, wait, just next round, Indianapolis, I'll drive like this as well.
Turn 1, send it, everybody off.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, dude.
They need to sort this out. Like the new boys need to learn that they can't send it.
Yeah, I think the new boys also need to learn that reverse grids. You know, come on, don't be pushy and shovey.
Yeah.
All right, best luck, boys.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah, so. Yeah, but. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do a couple of Pro-Am races this year, just to tracks I like. Right. Yeah. Wow. Spa is one of my all-time favourites. Like, you know, as a track. Bathurst is epic. Yeah, for 4 hours is mental, but I mean, Bathurst is still one of those tracks that still like kind of freaking scares me. Do you know what I mean? You know, every time you go. Yeah, well, no, I've done it. I've done 24 hours. Done the last 24 hours we did, and I've tried it here on ACC. It's rock hard, rock hard. Yeah, and but yeah, I did it on when we did it for the last 24 hours. So yeah.
Just making a quick drink, by the way. But based on your Bathurst comment, you watch Bathurst be cleaner than here.
It'll be people's mistakes, not so much crashing into each other. It'll be personal mistakes. Fucking 4 hours of Bathurst. Yeah. Yeah.
Was meant to be 6 hours.
Yeah.
Right. Who's the first man out on circuit? Car 43. No, it's dude. Is it 43? 443? 443.
443, innit?
Yeah. Sylph.
Sylph.
Right. Go on his cockpit view. And we'll go live in 5, 4. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport. What a chaotic race one that was as we enter into this second race of the evening and round 4 of the championship. It's still Tarlock who leads the way, 9 points clear of Silf with Hoop at P3. Dan stays P4 with Michael Harris P5, Matt Wright P6, O'Reilly 7th, Ben Rook, Patrick Ledger, Jamal Clouden rounds out the top 10. Sky Shundlemeyer, Mike Matthews, Tobias Hoffer, Overtaker, Skunky, Viper McGowan, Gary Leach, Gorb, O'Brien, Unsworth, Darren Yo, Molly, Beasley, San, Coe, and then the rest are yet to score. But obviously all results are provisional. Drop scores will be taken into account still as a provisional, just in case penalties are then taken in. What a race one, Kellys. We're on board with Silf. Yeah. He starts a lap, but what a race one for some of the right reasons at times, but a lot of the wrong reasons.
One way or another, Matt, it was entertaining. That's for sure, and we're going to have that every week.
I think we are. One thing to note then tonight is that race 2 will mark that of Ben Rook's 50th appearance here at SimPlay Motorsport. What a guy. What a driver he has been since coming in his third season here at SimPlay Motorsport, and it's a great to see him already reaching his first milestone of 50th appearance. For Nissan, that's been its first win in a long time. It's only its second ever win at SimPlay Motorsport, so whoever got the first, that has to be Project Cars 2 Days.
Yeah, probably. Didn't Fury drive it in Project
He did,
Days?
But I think I was before his wheel, so
right.
Not 100% sure. No, may not have had a win. It is also, it's only Nissan's 6th podium.
It's
so,
in Simland, it doesn't seem to be the best car, because I mean, in the real world, it is quite the car. Do you know what I mean? It's an exceptional motor car, you know. But
it's a bit strange, isn't it, the Nissan? Because you don't see many Nissans. It's like the Honda, almost. When you look at the cars on this game now, you still see a couple of Lexuses in the IMSA, the American series. We know obviously the Honda, I think, was in the GT World Challenge 2 years ago. I think there was been an Acura, which is the same car in the American GT series last year. We know the Honda NSX in British GT this year. Nissan, I think, was in the Asia GT series last year, but only one of them. They're kind of falling away, aren't they, in the real world?
Yeah, they do seem to be. And it's a strange world that we live in at the moment, with world economies and so on and so forth. And that might have something to do with it. I don't know.
Well, either way,
first man into the 16s.
Yeah, and then second man into the 16s. Overtaking was 500ths of a second just off the back of him, so a heck of a lap there. As here comes Viper. People are wondering why that Viper and Skunky may have changed livery for this race. That is because there was a clash of black and gold, and the admins have allowed them to change their livery to the darker green and white, as to not get confused. I quite like that, and it was a clash of the black and gold with that of the Team FBR guys, so I'm fully fine with that. Jamal Clouden exits the chicane. What's he going to do on his lap time as he comes towards the line now? Doesn't post laps, so must have validated it somewhere. What about Kieran O'Reilly? He also must have validated his lap. We're then turning our attention to Dan Davis next to the line. What's he going to post as he comes across the line now? He goes up to P3, 2/10 off of the pole at the moment. Where's Darren Yo? He's car 35. He exits the chicane now. What lap time is he going to put on the board? He goes up into P8. Next car is the 135 of our race one winner, Matt Wright.
Yes, indeed. I'm watching Mike Matthews, who's just coming into the chicane. I'm going to put his first lap down. Where's that going to put him? That puts him 11. Best
of laps there from him. San will be the next one to complete a lap time. And for many, regular viewers of SimPlay Motorsport, you're thinking, well, he's the 131. That's always been Gary Leach's number. Not this season. Gary's running the 3. Yeah, Gary's running the 313. He's back racing in the Brisker F2, I believe it's called, this year. And somebody had taken the 131 in the real world, so he's gone for 313 because that's his new number in the real world. So Gary Leach running 313. So make sure you're aware of that as he comes to the line and doesn't set a lap time. Next car to set one. Well, without a Silf, our current pole man by 5 thousandths of a second from Overtaker.
Yes, indeed. Certain drivers like to keep their own numbers. Gary, we were talking about, was his 131. Matt, what do you run? 55?
55, yep.
55, yep. Same as Carlos Sainz. Dan likes number 16, same as Charles Leclerc, although Dan had it before Charles Leclerc. And I like number 22, and someone else has got that right at the moment. And we're still in talks about that, aren't we, Matt?
We are. Overtaker has just gone and put in a 2:16.3. That is the best time I've seen in all of testing, so that may not be beaten as Patrick Elijah moves up the order a little bit. We're going to go and pick up that of car 35. That's Darren Yeo. As drivers are all on blue dots, so they are all invalidated times. Keep your eyes on them just moving up the order just in case. But I believe after you've done one flying lap, not your out lap, one flying lap, your dot will turn grey. So the blue dot at times signifies that they're on the first flying lap, or they've invalidated. It is a little confusing, so I'm not expecting Dan to move. No, his time doesn't change. So we are on with Darren Yeo. Car 35 will then go to the car 135. Daz moves up the order a little bit. 135 of Matt Wright. Currently sat 1.4 off the pole. Great first win for him. I believe that's his first win ever at SimPlay Motorsport.
Excellent. Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear. Nice to see a new winner, that's for sure.
It is his first win, so there we go, and he goes up into P8. Mike Matthews on a lap time, he moves up to 14th place. The Ferraris, Kelly, in practice, all in the Discord were saying how much they're struggling. I think that reflects tonight. The highest Ferrari is Viper, 1.2 seconds off the pole.
Yeah, I mean that car is highly rated as well, but yeah, it seems to be struggling around here at Spa, and I have never driven it, so I don't know what the characteristics of the car are. I don't know if it struggles in a straight line or what. I don't know, but it's certainly for some reason they're struggling tonight.
Gary Leach towards the line. Will he get a lap time on the board? He does. 1.5 off the back of Tobias Hoffer. Gary's got to pump in a bit more time there to get something out of this one. Next car on a valid lap is car 21. So let's find car 21. It is that of... I'd love to tell you. It's Tobias Hoffer in the Bentley. There we go.
Well, there we go. There we go. So still quickest at the moment. It's number one Greaser. Overtaker is in the number one slot at the moment. 3/10 clear.
Yeah, heck of a lap time from him there, and it's going to be an interesting one to see what he can do in the race as they go forward through this one this evening. As Tobias Hoffer, I tell you what, I am a fan of that paint scheme on that Bentley. It does look rather nice.
Hoffer, let me have a look. I'm not a big fan of green, so yeah.
Oh, there we go. Ford. 1, 2, 3, 4. As Tardock moves up into P3.
Do we think that Ford is quite a car at the moment?
I think that it is overpowered, and there was comments last season that the Lexus of Dan was overpowered.
Yeah.
Gary sat 3.6 off the pole. Just going to point that out there. That shows how not overpowered the Lexus is, and that how good Dan made that Lexus look. It's hard to argue that Ford's not top of the roost when there's four of them consistently at the top of the timing screens.
Yes, absolutely, and I've heard that rumour that it's overpowered as well. These things change, don't they, on ACC as updates happen and so on and so forth. And this seems to be the car in favour at the moment for whatever reason.
It does seem to be, and it is the best car for this circuit, hence why it has received the most bop. Now, one thing I do want to mention, while we just wait for the back end of qualifying where it gets a little bit more exciting again, have we heard the touring car news today? It is sad news for what I'm about to say if you haven't heard it.
I haven't heard it, so
Power Max Racing might not be on the grid next year.
Oh dear.
Their main sponsor that's the two Astras, so Aaron Taylor Smith and Mikey Doble from last year.
Right, yeah.
Their main sponsor has pulled out, and they've got to try and find it. They may not have the budget to go and race this season without it. What a shame, because Power Max over the years have started to get stronger and stronger in that little Astra.
Yeah, and it's the same old problem of money, isn't it? And unfortunately, in motorsport, money dictates everything. You know, so
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's,
this
you
is
know,
why
sad.
sim racing, you know, a couple £100 for a PlayStation, the couple, you know, 20 quid a month for your PlayStation Plus. That's everything's free. Buy the DLCs for say 50 quid. You buy a Logitech G29, a very good recommended wheel for 200 quid somewhere.
Yeah.
Bosh, away you go. That is still a lot cheaper than what it will cost you to go racing for a season in the real world.
Me and Dan did some very basic motorsport. We did Auto Solo, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a bit like car park rallying. You have to follow a coned course around a car park, basically, or a big open space. We did a couple of rounds on an airfield and a couple of rounds in a large car park. But it's basically first, second gear sprint around a coned course, the course changes every round. Anyway, we did that. You have a standard road car for it. We did a season which was about 10 rounds. We shared the car, and we had a little Polo 16 valve, and in that time I did 5 gearboxes. I was doing a gearbox every 2 rounds.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, it was inexpensive motorsport, but even inexpensive motorsport costs a fortune, you know. And this is the problem, you know. You can get entry level Mini Cooper, the juniors division that they do with touring car, that follow the touring car around. I think you could buy in for about 10k. You know, that's the car and the entry fee, but then you still got to get there and fuel and entry fees and so on and so forth. So,
and that's what it
I mean,
was.
I could rant about it all night, but the point being is that motorsport is so expensive, and so many people don't get the opportunities that they should do.
Jacob Blackinsop is saying that he hopes to be seeing the Duckham's livery on the WSR BMW. I'd like to see that with Daniel De Leon taking that over. Monkey Boy says, did you see that Taylor Smith is announcing something tomorrow? So there we go. Taylor Smith may not be in the Astra anyway. Maybe it's a different team. Monkey Boy, did you see that there's a Honda NSX at the British GT grid? Don't know if you've noticed that one this evening. As here comes Overtaker. Can he improve on that 2:16.3? No, he can't.
And I wish Christmas was here, because at least that doesn't involve a Honda.
10 months, 12 days, wait.
Yeah, so Monkey
But
Boy...
who's counting? Hey.
So Monkey Boy, the Honda is back in the British GT, so you know every circuit will have its grass cut perfectly.
Hey, I will say this though, right? Me and Monkey Boy, we went to Silverstone to the media day to see the launch of these newer cars, and obviously it's a free day to go to, and bought petrol money and stuff. So brilliant day. Me and Monkey Boy are heading down. If anybody is there at Silverstone on that day, please let us know. We'll try and have a SimPlay meetup, grab a picture for the Discord and whatnot. But what I will say is, where was I going with it? An interesting fact for the Honda NSX and for that man Monkey Boy. Season 1, Project Cars 2, him and Dean Wysocki. They was teamed in that car, and obviously the Acura, but it is the same car, just American named, because the Japanese are brilliant and sold it to the Americans under a different name and made more money. But that is something that, you know, Monkey Boy is probably that's why he's wanting to go there. He's wanting to go back to his roots of the Honda NSX. Remember his time with Dean Wysocki. Yeah,
I'm sure you're absolutely correct on that one.
I can't think of another reason why he's going.
No. Not that it's a great day out and see some fantastic other cars. No. Just reminisce about his days with Dean Wysocki. Yeah, because they were such a formidable team.
Not Podstad's coming to the line. He's about to finish his qualifying, gets across, finds 7/10 of a second, moves himself up into P20. Car 26 is about to come to the line. Car 26 is out of Gorb. Says he's on an invalid lap. We'll just see in case it is his first fly.
Are you still laughing at yourself?
No.
Were you still giggling to yourself about that, were you?
No. Not at all.
I'm sure you were.
Gorb has finished on his lap. Car 77 will be the next car. That is Overtaker, who probably doesn't need to improve on his lap time, but hey, he is going to give it a good old-fashioned try. Tardock is still on track, so Tardock could still improve. The 77, in fact, the 777 of Viper is in front of Tardock, who it says is on an invalid lap, but let's see. Here comes Overtaker. Hoopert is just behind him. Taker doesn't improve. What about that of Hoopert? He improves into third place, excuse me. And here comes Jamal Cloud, next car to finish his lap time. Can Dan find half a second and do one of Dan's magical lap times? Pierre is currently in the party chat in case I have to shoot off due to my partner being in slow labour. So Pierre is there to do the cameras if I have to shoot away. So he may want to remove his headset just in case Dan does his good old-fashioned thing. And if Dan takes pole, I think Pierre needs to be... He's not. He's invalidated. Well, that ruins that one. Come on, Jamal. We want to shout and have a good time. He's gone deep at the chicane. I feel Jamal has just buggered his lap time. So come on, Tardok. You're our only hope as Jamal has returned to the pits. Tardok here then. Can he take pole position? We've missed a good shout on a pole position journey. We haven't had one since Dan last season. Here we go. Tardok, just under 0.2 of a second. Can he take it at the very end? He comes down the start straight towards the line. It's Tardok. Doesn't improve. No. Again, anticlimactic 2 weeks in a row. Thanks, all.
Well, there you go. Matt will just have to leave his shouting to the delivery room, I suppose.
Yeah.
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 So there you go. It's Ford occupied the first 4 spots with 0.3 of a second between them. 5th place, the best of the rest is a Honda. Do you believe it?
Did you know? I don't know if you know this, right? But Honda.
Do I want to know this?
The only thing that would make the NSX better is if the team was sponsored by Ginsters. God, you'd never live it down, Kelly.
Do you know, you swore last week.
I did.
I'm close. And I'm really close.
Where's Richard Beasley? He's 16. Skunky's down
I'm really close into calling you something. I don't know. Something. Yeah.
There is no Dennis Newman. Apologies. I'm just mumbling to myself while I do the spreadsheet.
Yeah, just let me get over the whole Honda. Do you see what I have to work with here? Do you know what I mean? I'm sure Martin Brundle doesn't get this, does he? He doesn't have this kind of aggravation that,
but we're better than Crofty. Martin Brundle works with Crofty. I think we're better than Crofty.
I think we're the supreme team, the dream team. But,
I mean, you imagine Sky Sports F1 on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday early morning, 4 o'clock for the Grand Prix in middle of March, you know. Yep. And there's the presenter bloke, can't remember his name, and he goes, right, over to Sweet and Sticky in your box. Imagine that on Sky Sports F1. What better?
Brilliant. And I reckon both of us would have solicitors' letters from Ginsters and from Honda by the Monday morning, in the post, suing us both, to be fair.
I couldn't cheer for Honda in Formula 1, because at the minute, they do help Red Bull a little bit. And I'm not the biggest Red Bull fan. I don't know if you're aware of that one.
That is a real contradiction for you, isn't it? That must.
It is a deal breaker.
That must absolutely chap your butt every week when you watch Formula 1.
It is a deal breaker.
Your favourite Halfords car park drive-through car or engine in the back of a Red Bull. Oh, how depressing.
It's a deal breaker, Kelly. I'm not going to lie to you. It is a deal breaker.
Yeah, as I said, I can imagine it breaks your heart. So we're on the formation lap here at Spa-Francorchamps. Absolutely fantastic track. Some brilliant racing here over the years in many categories, but a couple of epic Formula 1 battles. I've got a lovely print on my office wall of Schumacher and Hakkinen going down this straight, the Kamal Straight, overtaking. Oh God, was it
Ricardo Zonta?
Zonta, yes, thank you guys. Ricardo Zonta, and I've got a lovely print of that. If you haven't seen that, 1, call yourself a motorsport fan, and 2, where have you been? Get on YouTube and look at that. But not now, because we're about to go racing very, very shortly with Overtaker on pole. And is he going to stay there? And are we going to see another Ford domination?
Well, it was a 1, 2, 3, 4 in race 1, wasn't it, last week, Kelly? So
yeah, it was.
Can it be another Ford 1, 2, 3, 4 this week? We're going to find out. O'Reilly's the interesting one for me, because we know we said it in the pre-season in the free practice that Honda struggles to get up and down, up over El Rouge and Radion, and that is where he himself has really struggled in practice this week. So if
that's where the cutting blade hits the floor, that's the problem.
Yeah, it just scrapes along the floor and unsettles it, and off it goes. Yeah. That could be a huge problem for the likes of Jamal and Dan and McGowan, who's just behind him. Who are you going for? The votes out, the polls out in the chat. Who are you going for?
My money's on Tardok. I think out of the Ford drivers, he's the most complete that I've watched so far. And that, for me, Tardok is where I'm going for the tip of this win. I think although Overtaker is the number one greasy pole, I don't think he's going to hold it all together.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I kind of have to. I kind of have to agree with what you're saying. I've said this before in the past. Overtaker over an hour on the pad. Is it a bit of a stretch for him because he's still a pad runner? Yeah, that's what I mean. Compared to a wheel user.
Yeah.
I fancy Hoopert. I really do.
I think it's going to be a Ford. My tip is one of these top four in a Ford is going to be going to win this one.
You know what's going to happen now, don't you? The only 4 cars that's going to crash a Pole Rouge at the start are the Fords.
All 4 of them.
And coming down the Kemmel Straight will be Honda, McLaren, Porsche, Ferrari in that order.
Yep. It'll be like any local scrapyard you go to. There'll be 4 Fords piled on top of each other. And the only other thing that'll happen is they'll rot away before they get to the end of the race. But there you go. Fix or repair daily.
Indeed it is. Overtaker giving it a flash of the lights. We're on the helicopter camera. Presmac there in the chat. I believe that is Wolski. Full gas, no brakes, Molly. Phew.
Yeah, I think I might be getting another solicitor's letter from Ford probably by Monday.
I was going to say, to be fair, the way it's going, Ford could be on your case in a moment.
Yeah.
Which funnily enough, Ford are partnering Red Bull next year.
Ah, well, there you go. Look, that make you happy, wouldn't it?
Will, because Aston Martin will be Honda backed. So.
Oh, well, that's not so bad. Do you like Aston Martin?
I don't mind Aston Martin. I like half of Aston Martin. There's one driver that's really good.
The Alonso half, then.
Yes.
Yeah, the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Hey, when it comes to Formula 1, I am McLaren through and through.
I totally agree. Totally agree. I love McLaren. Always been my team.
When it comes to touring cars, I'm now a Tom Ingram fan. It's took me 2 years to decide who I'm going to cheer after the late great Matt Neal retired.
Matt Neal.
So it took me 2 years to find out. It took me 2 years to find a driver, and I went with Tom Ingram.
And you could do much worse.
Oh, you could do much worse.
Lovely guy.
Brilliant guy. You nearly got up in an argument.
I didn't.
You say you didn't.
That story. You always exaggerate that story, just like GT5. There was no fisticuffs with me and Ingram at all.
We did a TikTok live we did a Facebook live on the group, and I asked Tom Ingram if Ginsters are a real Cornish pasty. At the time, Tom Ingram in the Touring Cars was sponsored by Ginsters. He was obliged to say yes, couldn't really say no to a Cornishman. As we are green and go here for round 4 of the season, and the guys are going to all come up Eau Rouge at the moment. Dan and Cloud, and they're just getting a little hesitant start. I say hesitant, probably a Y start to not come together up the hill. And look at this at the front. Hoopert now at the moment. Coming sorry, is that Sylph? I believe it's Sylph coming side by side with Overtaker down the straight. Crash in the background, Vipers off. We're just going to stick with this at the front as O'Reilly's looking each way till Sunday. And this is Sylph looking around the outside. No, I don't believe it is actually. I believe it might be that of Tarlock. It is Tarlock who Kelly picked for the win. And he now leads this race, and Overtaker can do nothing about it.
Yeah, Tardok run all the way up the Camel Straight and got the job done in the end. They went side by side. Now Sill's having to go at Overtaker as they come down towards No Name, but it's Tardok is up and away. We had some door rubbing in the background. Viper was one that I saw going off towards the side. I don't know who else was involved, but mostly clean start.
Darren Yo, car 35, I've just seen come through. He's another one who was involved yet again at the start line. Sutton is best, says Beto in the chat. I used to like Beto. He used to be a really good guy. But it's Overtaker down in second place from Tardok with Sylph and Hoopert just behind. O'Reilly's managed to hold station over Clouden. Then it says McGowan, but Dan Davis has got back ahead of McGowan. And Clouden there just touching the gravel and dirt a little bit, kicking a bit up. That's allowed Dan to gain back. So then it's McGowan after Dan. They're all going to come through this second sector in a moment, so the time screen will update itself. Then it's Ben Rook on his 50th appearance, Michael Harris, Mike Matthews, Matt Wright from Patrick Ledger, 1 and 2 in the last race. Then it's Sky Schundelmeyer, Tobias Hoffer, Fraser O'Brien, Gorb from Gary Leach, Unsworth. Then it is San, Skunky, Molly, Beasley. Oh, Beasley's got a wrecked car. That is badly damaged. Darren Yo got away with that, so Beasley in the wars already, but going back out front. Tordok goes a little deep, and I tell you what, these 4 Ford Mustangs at the moment haven't pulled away from O'Reilly. In fact, haven't pulled away from the train, really.
No, I haven't pulled away from anybody. It's still very close quarters all the way down through the top 10. No, they haven't pulled away at all. So it's still really close, as I said, right the way back to, well, all the way back, to be fair. You know, it's still very, very close.
So up towards Eau Rouge we come once again. It is Overtaker on the back of Torlock getting a mighty slipstream. Who's going to get the best run up for Eau Rouge? They come then for the second time. That's a bit of track limits probably there from Torlock, as Overtaker may have got a great run now on him in the slipstream. Down the Camel Straight they come. Here we go at the Camel Straight. I've done a Dan Davis now, called it the Camel Straight, and Overtaker pulls to the outside line as they head in towards Lecombe. He will have the ump about that, and round the outside does Overtaker go at Lecombe? He does, but he goes very, very deep off the circuit. He goes. He's going to rejoin now, and he's going to lose out 1 and maybe even 2. No, still over 1. Whoa, lost it nearly in front of the car behind.
Yeah. This is tight racing. The Fords all line astern here. No one's getting away. Overtaker looking very racy indeed, but it's still really close all the way down through the grid. Ben Rook with the fastest lap at the moment, right in the middle of all this lot, but he still has the fastest lap.
Do you know why I think he's got the fastest lap? Is that's where the gap is, because Tordock had to overtake Overtaker on the last lap. Yes, it was only for the opening lap of the race, but Ben Rook, I think, because he's the first one in clear areas, there's a yellow flag. That is Skunky in the 302 who's gone around, and his night just goes from bad to worse, doesn't it, at the moment? We are watching this fight just dropping back down to that of Ben Rook, with Michael Harris, McGowan, Mike Matthews still in play, and then you've got a bit of a gap from Mike back to Matt Wright. There is then got Ledger and Schundelmeyer. Schundelmeyer's had a good showing tonight. He's looked pretty decent in that Porsche.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, absolutely. Dan's climbing all over the back of Clouden, and I'm sure Clouden's going, no.
No, man.
You know, that's
it.
Man. Yeah,
not today. Not today. Jamal is going to be fully focused on keeping Dan Davis behind him as they come in towards Blanchimont. Clouden flicks it left. He nearly lost it there on the last lap of the last race to lose his podium. Jamal now defends that inside line. Dan's going to be wise here, though. He knows he's not going to be close enough. Maybe try and stick the nose round the outside. Look for the inside line of the next part, and Dan backs out of that one. He's not close enough to make the move on that of Clouden at the moment. O'Reilly, by the way, just starting, as he now sets the fastest lap, just starting to put a bit of daylight between himself and Clouden. He is sticking with the Fords.
I think Clouden's probably now looking in his mirrors more than he is going forward, and worrying about where Dan's going to make his move as they come down the hill once again. Giving, as I say, the top 5, and O'Reilly sticking with the Fords, as you said, in very, very close company, but still very little field spread anyway, across all the way down, to be fair.
Overtaker trying to get that run on Tordock once again, but he's not as close this time around. To have a look, he outbraked himself at Lecombe last time around, and this time manages to come through with ease. A lot of curb there from Overtaker, which didn't look like it made the Ford very happy. You see O'Reilly there, that's the problem with the Honda. It's lost out to the almighty grunt of that Ford Mustang down the Camel Straight, but he will gain it in this middle sector. This is where he seems to be a lot stronger. Plus, I suppose, is he losing a bit of time in that NSX, knowing that he's worried about Eau Rouge a little bit?
Possibly, he might be nervous coming up round Eau Rouge, and then you've got to pay for it all the way down the straight. So, that might well be the case. In the chat, we've got Rob Smith saying you can't beat Andy Rouse. Yeah, Super Touring days. I was a John Cleland fan myself, but Super Touring days, they were some real racers. When men were men and sheep were afraid.
Yes, indeed.
Like being in Wales.
Yes, indeed, as Patrick Lyger then going onto the back of Matt Wright here. Retake it for these two, but not for the race lead this time around up in the middle of the pack. That's for P12 and 13. Mike Matthews has actually dropped off the back of Michael Harris, so this is now the train behind Mike Matthews, isn't it, with Ian McGowan on the back of him. Just dropping down the order as well. Sands on the back of Gorb at the moment, and then you've got Molly dropping off the back. There's Skunky 7 seconds off the back after his moment, and Darren Yo 6 seconds off the back. Richard Beasley is out the pits, but he's technically on the same lap, I do believe, but in fact no, he may actually be a lap down, because this is going to say he's going to be 2 laps down. So he is a lap down.
Yep, you've got Mike Matthews is running the Truly train, or the KLF train, as I like to call it these days, and he's running that train at the moment. But McGowan looking very racy behind him, going to be keen to get past him. And Matt Wright, not a million miles away, race winner in race 1. He's going to want to go forward in this one.
We speaking of going forward, the Quantum Motorsport teammate of Fraser O'Brien. Well, he didn't frazzle Sky Schundelmeyer, but he may have dazzled him as he makes the switch back and gets up and under through Latorce.
Where's Overtaker? He's down to 9th. What's happened to Overtaker?
He is down in 9th. I am examining this car at the moment. I don't see a speck of damage on that car. Normally you'd see the odd scrape here or there that would indicate he's hit something. He has to have done. He has to have gone off of circuit at somewhere. I can only assume maybe Blanchimon.
Sorry, Matt, Clouden and O'Reilly are going for it as well. Clouden is round. Dan is in there as well, looking at the back of O'Reilly. Dan's gone wide. Dan's gone wide and let his teammate up the inside, I believe. Yes, he has. So Dan, Ben goes in front of his teammate of Dan. Clouden gets in front of O'Reilly. So position's starting to change a little bit. Tardok checking out now with a couple of seconds in front.
Yeah, indeed it is. And it just makes you wonder, is O'Reilly really struggling up Eau Rouge? Because he wasn't ahead before the first sector, but Clouden is now. So O'Reilly just struggling for Eau Rouge. He's still with Clouden, but Dan tried to look around the outside just after Lecombe and kind of put himself in the gravel. It was a little bit. That's a kind of a third error in 4 races we've seen from Dan after the 2 at Brands Hatch. You know, Dan wouldn't normally make that error, and he kind of tried to follow Clouden around the outside.
I think he's just. He's probably regretting picking this Porsche this season, especially with a season quite as competitive as it is. He's trying to keep up with these hugely talented fast drivers.
We've been told in the chat by Hypertech that Overtaker got tapped around.
There you go. Okay, you got tapped. Who did he get tapped by?
Well, I can only assume it's either Hoopert or Sylph.
Yes,
because they was the 2 that was right behind him. His Overtaker's late on the brakes round the outside of Harris at the final chicane. He'll then have that inside line for the next part and up the inside. Great move from Overtaker. That, to be fair play to him, laid on the brakes and showing that Ford Mustang its capabilities of what he can do. And great stuff there as Presmek in the chat. Mr. Doc aka Krigmit, when he joined RPM the other day, so Hungarian, I reckon he never been AM. He just destroyed us and immediately moved to Silver/Pro. There we go, because Krigmit is on fire at the moment. But O'Reilly struggling just behind Jamal Clouden at the moment. And look, going up Eau Rouge, he doesn't look too slow there. He doesn't look like he's lost out a million miles. Did maybe then O'Reilly lose out to Jamal? Because he put daylight between Jamal and Dan. Did O'Reilly get caught up in the Overtaker incident? So we'll wait and see what's happened. But O'Reilly's not been dropped by Jamal. Wouldn't say that O'Reilly's then lost pace. Maybe just a mistake from him.
Could be. Well, guess we'll never know for a minute. But these guys still really close. I mean, Clouden's got in front, but he hasn't checked out from O'Reilly. But the 3 Fords in front are starting now to pull away from the rest of the pack.
Yellow flag. That is 47. That is Fraser O'Brien, who's round at the moment. He's got back going now.
Maybe just a little mistake from him. As I said, these Fords starting to stretch their legs now as Clouden again probably looking in his mirrors a bit more than going forward, because O'Reilly's still very close with him. Yeah,
and it just shows how good this Honda is in the middle sector, or how good O'Reilly is over Clouden in this middle sector, because O'Reilly, this is where O'Reilly seemed really strong. Even when he was behind the Fords, this is where he seemed really strong in that Honda, wasn't it? It was all in sector 1, but again, we know that NSX it's like the Porsche, it's a little down on power, and that could be where it's losing all its pace.
Yes, indeed. Is this Porsche going to come into its own at any track round this season?
It's hard to say. It's just going to depend. I think it's just going to depend on the BOP, because the BOP kind of, we know now, we can look at the BOP and say, right, Ford Mustang gains 24 or 20, whatever it was, kilograms, little overpowered, or favours this circuit, should I say. I suppose you have to go. I suppose the BOP tells you all, doesn't it? The BOP file will tell you everything, and whatever car loses the most weight is probably not as favoured. The car that gains the most weight is probably as favoured. With the Porsche gaining 3 kilograms, it's kind of a neutral car around here compared to all the others.
Absolutely, and we'll see. I mean, yeah, the Bop's supposed to level things out, but I mean, it still looks like the Ford with an advantage. I mean, not just one driver, but
Gary Leach in the
multiple
pits.
drivers.
Oh, O'Reilly, there we go, just showing you. He was on board Clouden, but you just see O'Reilly there as he comes up El Rouge, sideways over Radion. He's lost all pace and momentum down the straight. Ben Rook's going to look to the outside line, in towards Lecombe, and I think O'Reilly's braked earlier, and Ben Rook gets that move done. O'Reilly didn't want to fight that too hard. He knew he'd made the mistake, and now O'Reilly tucks back in behind. So Clouden now can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief and maybe hunt after them Fords a little bit, because he's now not got O'Reilly behind him.
Yep, and O'Reilly's got another handful of trouble with Dan and Overtaker coming up behind him very quick. Dan's going to be conscious that Overtaker is quick in that Mustang. He's going to want to try and rectify his mistakes and go forward. But O'Reilly's now coming back at Ben with that middle sector power from the Honda.
That's what I mean. The middle sector, and O'Reilly seems to have it hooked up at the moment. He's on the back of Ben. He's looking each way till Sunday, and this is going to be an interesting one to see what will happen here as Dan Davis on the back. They've just pulled away a little bit from Overtaker through that middle sector, and this is possibly where we see the pad runner as we're coming to the end. We're coming 13 minutes in. Is that where Overtaker's just starting to struggle, or maybe the Ford just starting to struggle a little bit? Hoopert's got fastest lap of the race. Now O'Reilly's lost out at the back end of the middle sector, and Dan's all over the rear of him.
Absolutely, although Dan goes wide there, that is wide, you're right.
That'll definitely,
another car in there.
Yeah, that'll definitely have pinged a track limit warning. Dan's now under pressure from that of Overtaker as they come towards Blanchimont. Dan, has he got a tap on that left rear of the car? It looks a little black. That'll be a track limit ping for Overtaker, and I tell you what, he has got to get... Oh, Dan's hit him! Dan's hit the back of Overtaker!
And Overtaker's gone deep as well.
That has got to be, I tell you what, the stewards are going to have to take a look at this. Overtaker has overtaken Dan off track and then has braked. I think he's braked at his normal point. I'm not going to say anything. I think he's braked at his normal point, and Dan being close to him is what has caught Dan out. That is naughty, though, from two relatively experienced drivers.
Absolutely, and it's hard to know exactly sitting here in the comms box. This much we do know, that Overtaker was off track when he passed him. Did he cut then in front of Dan, and Dan have to take avoiding action, brake too late, or whatever, or unsighted?
I tell you what, Dan has nearly absolutely sideswiped Mike Matthews here, who was all out of shape at the top of Radion. Dan's now got a mega run, and McGowan now is trying to come back on Dan as well. Dan has definitely got a bit of black on that rear bumper, maybe a few kisses off of Overtaker and the front of his car. I tell you what, it was tit for tat last week from what I heard between Overtaker and Dan. Well, that continues into a second week, and it's been tit for tat for seasons between these two.
It has for a long time. They're fierce rivals. So yeah, I mean, normal service is resumed, but Dan is wringing the neck of that Porsche. He's either got severe damage or he's driving a little bit on the angry side.
Pit window doesn't open for another 10 minutes, so he's got to try and come back into this one as Dan Davis, current defending champion. I tell you what, Kelly, and I know PN's in here on mute at the moment. You guys cannot hear him. I think we're in for a few tickets this week.
Absolutely. Whoever's the steward team are, whoever the stewards team are, I think, get your notepads ready, because there's going to be a lot to take in this week.
May have to get Discord. Sorted out on the laptop if I'm in hospital ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
Push, Emily, push, please. What are you doing? I'm stewarding. Sorry, can't be there. Apologies.
Rob Smith in the chat's thinking that Overtaker may have lifted to let Dan back.
Well,
pass.
if he did, that's naughty.
Yes.
If he did, though, if that is the case from Rob Smith, that is incredibly naughty to lift off instead of getting to the braking zone and giving Dan the space.
He just came back onto track. So, and I mean, look. At the end of the day, it's very easy to sit here and comment
100%.
On what we're looking at. Until we have all the data, which the stewards will get, you don't exactly know what happened. As I said, Overtaker was definitely off track. That we know. What we
can say, Overtaker passed Dan off the circuit. The rest, that is down to the stewards, because at the end of the day, Overtaker may have braked in his normal position, meaning that Dan has gone into the back of Overtaker. And that will be the be all and end all. Dan would have then run into the back of Overtaker.
Yeah.
End of conversation. But
or as I said, Overtaker could have braked early, could have lifted to let Dan through, but you would have thought he would have just run his line off track and joined in behind. As I said, these are all questions that we can ask, but we don't know the answers to until the stewards look at it. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to know, and we will.
There we go. Look, and Plava saying that on Dan's onboard, I saw Overtaker's brake lights come on. So there we go. Overtaker's probably braking for the chicane, and Dan's got caught out in that, and that's then down onto Dan Fitt in the back of Overtaker. As Fraser O'Brien has got ahead of Gorb at the moment, and we're watching Skunky on the back of Gorb right now, coming in towards Lecom. Nothing going to happen there. What I will say, this week of Pro-Am and Pro, GT4 seemed relatively good. There has been a lot of tit for tat in terms of both Pro-Am and Pro, in terms of some of the incidents and tickets that we have seen last night, and what we think we may see tonight from what me and you have seen, Kelly. It does seem there's been a lot of tit for tat happening out there on the circuit, and that's what you don't want to see. We get that tempers are high, adrenaline is being pumped through the body. Yeah. Come on, though, guys. You know, you've still got a job to do.
You've got to remember. Yeah, you've got to remember it's a game, and you know it's to keep your emotions in check. And I know, Christ knows that you and me, Matt, have ranted and raved so many times.
Two of the most emotional guys went in the car, I think, are in this commentary box.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I think we've invented swear words on this game. Do you know what I mean? So, you and me are not free from emotion, but you have to try and keep your emotions in check. You're a better driver when you do. Yeah. You know.
Completely agree. Here, then we're.
Tit for tat just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work, you know, and like I say, this is a game, and people obviously want to take the championship very seriously and take their racing very seriously.
Absolutely.
As we're watching O'Reilly get close to Ben, and Overtaker getting close to O'Reilly, just dropping down the order. Dan getting close to his former teammate of Mike Matthews. Just looked a little squirrely getting the power down out of turn one. Patrick Liger on the back of Sky Schundelmeyer. I don't think Overtaker has it done, so I'm going to retract that statement. All the Porsches with a light rear bumper have the same black mark. Right. So that is not obviously paint from Overtaker's car onto Dan's car. That is obviously just a Porsche thing.
We got Chris R in the track. It's not a game, it's life. Chris, you need to get one of them.
Chris, if you've heard me and Kelly in a race and watch one of my Twitch broadcasts, you will understand how much it is life.
Absolutely.
The smallest of things cause the biggest of shouts from me and Kelly. Right?
Absolutely.
Car 26, Gorb's just got himself a drive-through penalty. Never mind when we've been absolutely walloped. Don't get a start on that. Oh, right.
What, a Cota?
Cota, from your teammate, no doubt. I think we're about to see a retirement here. Gorb has got his drive-through and returned to the pit lane and has left the lobby. That is a retirement.
And that goes with a penalty, does it not?
That will be a qualifying ban going into next week.
Okay, so there you go.
And actually new to this year as well, -5 championship points. That good work he did in race 1, take 5 away.
Yeah, all gone. Absolutely. Out in front, Hubert's really coming back at Tardok now. He's only within a couple of tenths of him now as they're at the back end of the circuit coming towards the bus stop.
Overtaker's past O'Reilly, Kelly, just a note, sorry.
Okay, yeah. So Overtaker going forward. He's got Ben Rook. He's the next one in front of him. I was going to ask Plava if he's on Daniel's onboard, Daniel's Twitch or whatever it is. Was there a lot of swearing coming from Daniel? What was his mood like?
I can only assume Dan is a bit of a calmer version of you, but still uses the same expletives. So I can assume there was one or two. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's good parenting. You know, make sure they know all the best expletives.
Oh, is that how it is? Let me note that one down. Chris here, I'll have to listen to a 14-year-old all week about how bad his car is. Then he does well race day. Can we wish Ben a happy 15th birthday for Sunday? Oh, there we go, Ben. Happy 15th birthday for Sunday. Well, there we go, Chris. Ben and my newborn could be sharing the same day for their birthday. But Ben, happy birthday for Sunday. Yeah. My good friend. On his 50th race appearance tonight as well. He's up in P5. What a solid result. And he's gaining on Clouden. Yeah, I was just about to say, close the gap. Clouden hasn't got the pace of the Ford Mustangs. Let's go out front, though. Hoopert and Sill at Tordok. Side by side. Your prediction versus my prediction at the moment. And Overtaker's been the chat's prediction at the moment by some margin. And Hoopert looking up the inside of Tordok. Self watching on in the background. And I tell you what, MSA Racing, brilliant to see them once again. Tapped!
Touched.
Hooper's been spun around by Tordock, and is this going to allow Sylph through? No, it does not. Sylph doesn't get through. Here comes Clouden as Hoopert is now recovering. Clouden then goes and darts to the inside line, manages to get through. So Clouden now moves up into P3, but now he's got Hoopert closer than what Ben is to him. So this could now spell dramas for Clouden because he was being caught by Ben. He's now got the Mustang that has split the gap, and Ben was only half a second behind Clouden.
Absolutely, that changed the face of things, and I'm obviously of the opinion that they're all friends because although Hubert is not MSA Racing, he's running the same livery. So I'm taking it they're all friends. There's going to be some spanking in the MSA office at the end of this race. I feel
if they've got team management, someone could be in trouble. It has come around quick, Chris. Plover saying there wasn't shouting, there was more disappointing. What are you doing? As here comes Hoopert then on the back of Jamal Clouden coming through Blanchimont. Clouden currently ahead of Hoopert as they come down towards the bus stop chicane. Hoopert pulls to the outside line. We've seen Overtaker go around the outside at this chicane. Hoopert's going to try and do the same thing. They go side by side. Clouden's got to leave the room because Hoopert is far enough alongside. Doesn't get a great run, does Hoopert? Clouden gets a really good run out the chicane, and Clouden going to stay up the inside line. In fact, he's fully ahead of Hoopert now coming in towards the source. 4 lap 10. Hoopert's going to try the outside line once again. Maybe think of the up and under, but can't get it done. And I don't think Hoopert has got the minerals to go side by side with Jamal Le Pole Rouge, because you have got to be one brave boy to do that.
Yeah, Clouden is a tough racer. I know it from my own personal experience more than once in GT4. He is a tough racer. But I thought
O'Reilly's gone! O'Reilly's gone in the background. We're not going to flick to him. I saw the call go round, and Clouden and Ben Rook both under pressure from a Ford Mustang. Here comes Hoopert up the inside of that of Jamal Clouden. Late on the brakes, gets it stopped, moved on. Ben, though, hangs on in there. Hoopert makes a mistake through the second part of the source and manages to keep the move done. Overtaker now gets past Ben Rook.
I was just going to say that Overtaker was on the move forward at the same time that Hoopert was, and good racing from these lot, good clean racing, and got to take a breath. So back to 1, 2, 3 on the Fords, but now Hoopert's got 3 seconds or so. Clouden hasn't given this one up though.
He hasn't given this one up.
I wouldn't expect him to.
No, I wouldn't expect him to either. It was one greasy backwards, one greasy forward in that one at the time through the com. There was a lot of greasing going on here at SimPlay Motorsport. But Jamal Clouden now dropping down to 4th. Overtaker moving up into P6. Great as he. The question now is if Jamal doesn't have the pace of Hooper, will Overtaker get onto the back of Jamal? And will he take Ben Rook with him? I think Ben had a wiggle up El Rouge, and that's what allowed Overtaker to get such a good run up through El Rouge. We are going to drop back down to Ian McGowan though, because Kieran O'Reilly's just on the back of Mike. McGowan's really close to him. Schundelmeyer's got ahead of Patrick Lydia now. I've just seen Tracy's comment of Let's Go Sky, so he's moved up the order. It's hard to keep an eye on all the action. What's happening down here? Here is San, and that is Skunky on the back of San at the moment. Gary Leach is also pitted and is on the same lap as Richard Beasley. They are both a lap down at the moment, so I'm not sure what happened to Gary there.
Absolutely. Gary not featuring much in this one. I'm sure we'll see some brilliance from him. Pit window's open, so we've got the round of pit stops. It's going to come in the next 10 minutes. Pit window open on this extremely long pit lane here, and first one diving in, Mike Matthews, is it? Yeah, Mike Matthews already into the pit, as is Dan Davis. Dan Davis also in the pits. No, I'm not either. Probably got damage that he wants to repair. Look at this pit lane. Sorry, you can't. It's my view, not yours. This pit lane is so long. You go all the way down the F1 pit lane, round the corner, and then into the GT pit lane, or the support pit lane, before you can get your pit stop done. It's huge long pit lane. Awful. But these two are in the pits. Mike weaving in the pits, trying to keep temperature in his tyres.
Yeah, that to me then would signal that Mike Matthews isn't changing tyres. Clouden has been overtaken by Overtaker there. Relatively easy. I would suggest that because Overtaker had significant pace over Clouden didn't fight that one too hard, and has something gave it away by the fact that Clouden didn't defend. I feel Clouden's probably going to defend a little harder from Ben Rook here, considering that they're not teammates. Clouden's going to want to work for that one.
Absolutely.
But by letting Overtaker through, that has brought Ben onto the back of him.
It sounds like there was some greasiness from the greasers. Just slipping one up the other. if you know what I mean. Oh, well, where are the pits? Who's in the pits? Dan's still
Everybody's still in the pit lane. I don't know who's got there or not. Right, Jamal's got to follow overtaker now. I think this has to be the strategy from the Greasy Bandits racing team. Jamal has to follow overtaker because Jamal's pace, compared to them Fords, hasn't looked great. Overtaker now moving back into the top 4. It's going to be an interesting one to see, but let's keep our eyes on what will happen. And Ben Rook is P6 at the moment. Michael Harris P7. All within a second of each other. Dan is away from his pit box. He's the first man out of the pit, so he's jumped Mike Matthews. Matt Wright also away, as is Patrick Ledger there then. Richard Beasley in after being a lap down. He did. Was Dan in before Mike, so Dan had got past Mike on track.
Yeah. He had, somewhere, I don't know where, but Dan was ahead as they go in. Matt Wright is out and away as well, and who else is in there? Hoffler's away.
Skunky's away
in the pits. Skunky,
Gary's done his pit stop already. Darren Yo still there. O'Brien's still there. Beasley still there. Ben Rook has come into the pit lane, so let's see.
Ben Rook's dived into the pit lane, as has Sky. The rest of them have continued on by the looks of it. Certainly the Fords have. Clouden, Harris, O'Reilly, McGowan still out on track, opting to go. I mean, they've got plenty of time. Got 7 minutes yet, so plenty of time.
Molly is into the pit lane. So Dan's coming through Pouon at the moment. He was a bit behind Ben. Ben's still stationary in his pit box. In fact, I don't even think Ben's got to his pit box yet. No, I can see the dot still moving. So he's not actually got to his pit box yet. Darren Yo has just done his stop. Dan is now coming through the middle sector. We're just going to keep our eyes on Dan to see where he will be in reflection to Ben. Undercut is strong around Sport. We've seen that in races yesterday and today and on Tuesday night, that the undercut is the stronger tactic to be on.
Yes, absolutely. If you get everything right, if you hit your pit box right, and all that. So So we've got Dan is just coming through the back end of the circuit up to the bus stop chicane. And see if he makes any places.
Well, put it this way, yellow flag. That is a 313 of Gary Leach, who has now been lapped. Dan's missed the chicane.
Yeah.
So that is going to take a lot of time off of him there. Now, one thing to note, Kelly, if Ben goes green by the time Dan's at turn 1, Ben should come out in front. If Dan is already down out of turn 1, there we go then. So now Ben's away. This is going to be very close to see who will come out at the top of Radion. Ben's off the limiter. Yep. I think Ben's going to have this one done over Dan, but Dan was a couple of seconds behind Ben anyway, and had that mistake at the chicane just a moment ago. There's Ben, there's Dan. Ben keeps the place.
Certainly does. So the Team Audio Sport Cars line of stern. Come on, you two, otherwise I'm not paying you.
As Unsworth and Sam, that's the closest fight on track at the moment. So Gary, yellow flag once again. We've actually lost 2 drivers from this race.
Have we? Who's the other one?
I'm not 100% sure, because I cannot see. We've lost Gorb, but I'm trying to think who else we have lost. I cannot see who it is.
No, I can't.
Because Gary Leach is still there, Beasley's still there, Skunky's still there, Hoffer, Ledger, Matt Wright. We did have 25 runners. So Dan, Ben, Matt Wright, Fraser O'Brien, he's still there. Michael Harris as Unsworth comes into the pit lane. Let's go on board with the leaders, who are separated by 0.3 of a second. O'Brien Harris is still there. I've seen Harris's name, Beasley's still there. Skunky's still there. Viper. I cannot see Viper. So that one.
He had a massive crash at the beginning, didn't he? He was involved in that big incident at the beginning. I wonder if he dropped then, or when he went. But he was definitely involved in that incident.
So there we go. That could be 2 unqualifying bans next week. Then, as we come forward in this race, what will happen with everybody here? Then we're currently watching the battle out front at the moment. What a fight this is!
Absolutely, and keep your comments coming in the chat, because we love to hear your comments. Gives us another element, things to talk about. So do keep the chat coming. In the chat, PM, who's also in our party and just in our ears, Chris R, Rob Smith, Emplava. yeah, keep the comments coming. We love it.
Yeah, we do indeed. Then, as we come through Sky Schundelmeyer, let's go and watch him for a moment, because he's been fighting with Patrick Ledger for a lot of this race. He's back behind Patrick at the moment and is currently on the back of him so far, so he's trying to make his way through. Michael Harris has done in the pits. He's gone green, so we're just going to wait to see where he will come out.
Indeed, I'm still watching at the front, and Stealth is still just half a second off the back of Tardock, and Stealth dives into the pits. He takes his pit stop. Tardock continues on.
Yeah, undercut being strong, that could help Sylph in this race to maybe get ahead of his teammate as Sky Schundelmeyer gets a heck of a run here on Patrick Ledger. Pulls to the outside line. Porsche versus Lamborghini. Down the Kemmel straight we come once again. And Sky Schundelmeyer, easy as you like, he's done it halfway down the straight. He moves up another place.
Yeah, we've got Ben Rook is now all over the back of Harris, with Daniel just behind him.
So Harris has jumped these two.
Yeah, looks like he has in the pits, but they are in close company to him. So the undercut has worked for Harris, but both the Audio Sport cars very, very close. Harris weaving across the track. It looks like tyre temperature, not like defending.
Makes me wonder, Kelly, those who's possibly still warming their tyres on their outlap, have they actually changed tyres?
Changed tyres,
because obviously in GT3 they'll come straight out of fresh tyre blanket and onto the car. If you haven't, you've had to drive all the way through that long pit lane, which will cost you 57 seconds, plus then sat there waiting for at least 25.
Yeah, absolutely. Your tyres are bound to go cold. So these guys who are flicking around the track trying to rewarm their tyres. Ben looked a little bit squirrely there as he took an awful lot of curb. Still chasing Harris down. Dan Davis right in company with these two as well as they head towards the bus stop chicane once again. And who's going to be coming out of the pits at this time? McGowan in there, Clouden overtaker. I don't think they're going to bother any of these guys. As Ben has a look in the bus stop chicane, not close enough to put a move on Harris. Is he going to have a go into turn one?
Wow, Clouden's away first. Clouden's away before Sylph and overtaker. Sylph is now away. I think Sylph has taken tyres.
Might well have done.
Clouden went before Sylph. Let's take a look. Did Clouden come out ahead of Sylph? No, he did not. Further down the pit lane, overtaker come out ahead of Clouden still. But I think that Sylph has maybe taken tyres, because he seems a bit closer to them two than what they was before. There's Clouden. There you see Harris, Dan and Ben all come up over Radion, and they're not going to be on the back of Clouden. But my God, they're going to have some straight line speed. Here comes Ben to the outside. Harris has forced him to go the longer way around at the Lecombe chicane. Ben and Harris side by side, squeezing each other through the Lecombe chicane. Dan's gone deep, so Dan's made his own error. I tell you what, I've not seen this many errors from the... nearly clatters the back of Ben rejoining.
Yes, indeed.
Now Ben's giving him the position.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about, but I'm... Harris got away with that one, I think. To be fair, he was touch and go all over the track. Didn't give Ben an awful lot of space to play with. I think it was, as I said, borderline, heavy defended. But certainly didn't give a lot of space. But the two Audio Sport cars miss out for a little bit. But Harris is now caught onto the back of Clouden.
So we've seen Clouden let overtaker go. We've now seen Ben let Dan go. And the Ben one I find even more flabbergasting, because Ben was ahead of Dan, attacking Clouden. Dan had made his own mistake, rejoined and nearly clattered the back of Ben, and then Ben just lets him go. So unsure there. I thought Ben was free to attack Clouden, to be fair, but I tell you who is attacking Clouden: Michael Harris in the JPS looking BMW. Gorgeous livery on that BMW, I must admit, the black and gold. And I'm not a black, I don't like black and white as colours on cars. I find it boring, but it goes so nice with the gold.
I disagree on both levels, because black is beautiful, although it takes an awful lot of cleaning, and white is beautiful.
Oh, Jamal's gone deep. Sorry, Kelly. Jamal went a little deep at the first part of the chicane. That's going to allow Harris to have had a great run through there. And you can just see he's got a little bit closer to the back of Jamal Clouden. And now for Jamal, he's coming down towards turn one. And Harris got to play patiently.
Yeah, I wondered if Harris was going to try and cut down the inside, but he wasn't. Didn't have the raw speed to do that. But he's right on his tail as they go down towards El Rouge, and the Audio Sport cars are gaining a little bit. Just to finish my point, white cars, you can see the lines of the vehicle, the design lines. So that's why I like white cars. Yeah, my liveries are always white based. So because most of my cars are white. But there you go. Anyway. Black's beautiful as well, and that BMW is particularly sweet.
Yeah, I will have to agree on the BMW as he follows Clouden through, not really managing to gain a lot in the slipstream up over El Rouge. So I wonder if Harris had to lift a little bit more, being so, because he was right up the rear wing of Jamal Clouden coming up El Rouge. Clouden a little deeper than what he'd probably like to be. That's had to probably slow him down and come back in at the hairpin then. Through No Name they both go. This is a heck of a fight. And you see, I'm now baffled as Benny's still on the back of Dan. I don't know why they've changed position there.
I don't know. Maybe it's something random like Ben missed a gear or something.
Possibly.
I don't know. Was startled a little bit by Dan coming back on. It could have been something like that. And they've decided just to go forward as they are for now. I mean, at the moment, they're just taking team points. Neither one is bothering the front of the championship. We'll see what happens, how it progresses. But incidentally, it's the top four are all back to being forwards again, all separated by a second or more. But the top four are back to being a different order, but the same four forwards that started the race.
Indeed they are, and just watching Michael Harris, he really gained on Clouden through that middle sector and just put a couple of wheels on the grass, and it lost him a bit of momentum, whereas Clouden, just a little neater through that middle sector, was able to just gap Harris a little bit. But Harris really putting some pressure on Jamal here, and Harris, who's had a great pit stop, he's moved further forward, he's just putting that pressure on him, and it's going to be out. Jamal seems to have had a lot. He seems to be up in fifth, not really gone forward any, but always seems to have a car on his rear. Do you know what I mean? Like O'Reilly had a mistake, Clouden got past him. Overtaker got spun around, Clouden got past him.
Yeah. It's like Clouden is wringing the neck of that just to hold it where it is.
Yeah.
But not overdriving the car, like you get the best out of the car, you know, doing a bit of an Alonso and punching a bit above his weight, and hence he's always got someone kind of pressuring him from behind. He is obviously the best of the rest at the moment, and we haven't got an awful lot of McLarens in Pro, have we? In fact, he's the only one.
I think there's a couple of others. I think there is a couple of others. We've lost another drive. That's 3 retirements we now are on. Another one gone.
Yeah, so as I say, we haven't got a lot of McLarens, and I mean, I drive the McLaren, and I've driven it since the start of since I've started on ACC, and haven't changed it. It's a nice, stable car for me, and I can't be bothered to learn anything else. But I know Clouden particularly likes the car and the brand, yeah, he's doing it for the McLaren boys, but he might be, as I said, punching above his weight tonight.
He might be. We'll have to wait and see. We are down with Kieran O'Reilly, who's gaining on the back of Matt Wright, and Patrick Ledger 6/10 off the back of Schundelmeyer. He's not gave this one up at all as Patrick in terms of that fight with Schundelmeyer. Like I say, the front four, all Ford Mustangs. 7/10 separating Jamal Clouden and Michael Harris at the minute. 9/10 down to Ben, and then a bit further down we'll stay with Jamal for a moment. Molly has retired from the race. He has sent me a message, so that will be sorted afterwards. But yeah, 3 drivers down already in this race.
Yes, indeed, which is disappointing, but hey, you never know the circumstances. I'm sure we'll find out. So, still probably Clouden seems to have got away from Harris just a little bit. Seems to have gapped him. The Team Audio Sport cars again have a similar sort of gap behind, and we haven't got too many fights on track at the moment. Kieran O'Reilly close to the back of Wright as they come up into bus stop chicane. Kieran O'Reilly gone backwards in this race. Probably the spin he had at the top of Eau Rouge is what's kind of spoiled things for him. But he's on the back of Matt Wright at the moment, and going to have a look down the inside into turn 1, or should I say the last turn, whichever one it is.
Turn 1, I think it's classed as.
I think it's a turn 1. So O'Reilly is again right up behind Matt Wright as they go through Eau Rouge. See how the Honda goes through there this time. Yeah, not so bad. And he's staying with Matt Wright. And is he going to get a run on him down the Camel Straight? It's looking close, but I don't think he's close enough, to be honest.
No, I don't think he's close enough at all either.
No. Hubert's come back at Tardock a little bit.
Yeah, and Overtaker's got past Sylph. So
he has, yes, you're right.
That was 2.9 seconds a minute ago. It's now down. It's now that Overtaker leads by, or is in third place by half a second. So that is an interesting one for Overtaker. In terms of your question, John, I don't bring up the timetable with this being the main broadcast. I don't bring up the timetable to check the fastest lap of the race, so I cannot tell you at the moment. You can do that. Yep, you can press on Hupert and it should tell you his fastest lap of the race.
His fastest lap of the race is a 2:16.8. 2:16.8 is his quickest.
That for me is John is in the chat with Jamal and Overtaker. He'll be relaying the message to Overtaker, I assume, because I don't think Jamal's got that pace. And he'll be telling, Harris has got past Jamal. So one greasy forward, one greasy backwards.
Lots of greasing going on.
Lots of greasing. Matt Wright's got O'Reilly all over the back of him. I think that'll be a message for Overtaker that this is the fastest lap. Can you do it? I beg that if... I say I beg. I beg the question, Kelly. If Overtaker's changed his tyres, it's doable. If he hasn't, I don't think he's going to.
Funnily enough, Matt, in Overtaker's stats, he owns a purple in the first sector and he owns purple in the last sector, but on very different laps, lap 9 and lap 17. He's definitely pushing, and his quickest is in the 17s. He hasn't put a lap in the 16s in this race. His best lap was his last lap on a 2:17.9, so you've got a little way to go for the fastest lap.
Yeah, there we go then. So he has got a little way to go in this race at the moment in terms of what he'll be able to do. So let's see what he can do going forward. But Overtaker currently now on to P3. We've got O'Reilly and Schundelmeyer's coming with O'Reilly and Matt Wright. Race 1 winner, let's not forget. And Jamal Cloud now 4 tenths off the back of Michael Harris. But while these two are squabbling, I tell you what, Kelly, Dan and Ben haven't really reeled these two in while they've been having a battle.
No, I think they've. I think they're at the peak of their performance, to be honest with you, Matt. Just incidentally, in the last one on these timetables, Tardock has just done a 16.9, so he's currently in the 16s.
There we go then. Track limits. Nobody's had a drive-through yet. Remember, Dan got one in that first 20-minute race, so nobody's yet got one.
No, we haven't, and yeah, these guys obviously learning from race 1. There's a lot of track limit opportunities around this track, and yeah, and I think all these guys know where the limit is, and they're close to it, but no drive-throughs, as you say. 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, no drive-throughs, as we say. This is going to be an interesting one.
Drive-through penalty.
As we say.
Drive-through penalty, Patrick Ledger.
Patrick Ledger, drive-through penalty. So just as we say that about a drive-through, Patrick Ledger gets one.
Commentator's curse is real. It is a real thing, and it's real life. Believe me.
Well, there we go. That's put to bed, that one then.
Yeah, absolutely.
And forward we shall go once more. But we're still watching this Cloud and Harris fight at the moment. Down 1.8 behind. Hasn't really got anything over these two at the moment up front.
Yeah, I'm watching Hubert and Tardock. And Hubert, again, really close. Half a second within Tardock. And Overtaker 4 seconds back. I don't think Overtaker went forward. I think Stilth went backwards is what I don't think he rocked up and just overtook Stilth. I think Stilth was made some sort of mistake. But
Oh, Kelly,
Overtaker's-
gonna have to cut you
Yeah.
off. O'Reilly and Matt Wright side by side towards Eau Rouge we go. Who's going to give up? O'Reilly yields and lets Matt
Yeah.
Wright hang on to that place. Whoa, spinner at the top. Matt, oh, that's McGowan. He's well off. So that's thankfully we can see that there as O'Reilly now gets to run up and over the
He's
hill.
gone.
And here comes the Honda. But that Nissan's just going to start pulling in a straight, I reckon. I tell you what, the mighty little
Look out,
NSX
Scott.
as Schundelmeyer fancies three
Yeah, I was
wide
gonna
here.
say, yeah.
Wow, that could have been a Ricardo's onto moment.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It could have been a Hakkinen, Schumacher and Zunder moment right there because Sky is right in on this one as well.
He's had a solid night, to be fair, as Schundelmeyer.
Yeah, absolutely, he has. Yeah. So these three going at it, hammer and tong, which is great racing to see. The top two, though, still only separated by 0.3 of a second. Hubert is absolutely all over the back of Tardock, all over him like a cheap suit as they come down the hill once again. And still 13 minutes to go. These two lapping extremely quickly as well. Pulling away from Overtaker, I believe.
You know what? I've praised Schundelmeyer. I'm just going to put the driver of the day poll out. I'm going to put driver of the day on there with Schundelmeyer listed because I think he's had a solid day. Also with Hupert, who's going to look to be on for a double podium. Matt Wright for his first ever win, and Jamal Clouden I think's had a bit of a solid night. Podium and currently at his 6th place as well at the moment. So let's see what will happen there. But so far, so good. Overtaker 4.8 behind these two in the lead. There he is in the background with Self. I don't think them two's quite got this pace. And also, Dan was 1.8 behind Jamal. He's now 2.4. I think Dan's settling for 7th.
I think the Audio Sport boys are doing what they can do. I think they're maxed out where they are, and it's not enough to go forward.
What a three-way fight down the pack then here for Matt Wright, Kieran O'Reilly and that of Sky Schundelmeyer, who hasn't had, top 10 finishes and great results, but I think for that portion and what Sky's got out of it, I think is a solid night for him.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Respect to him for sure, because I don't think the Porsche is the greatest car around here by a long shot. And he's definitely there and thereabouts, isn't he?
He is indeed as they come up Eau Rouge once again. The three of them, not as close as last lap. So we will go back to that front battle. Fraser O'Brien's back in the pits. Hupert very close now to the back. Jamal's lost that second to Michael Harris. That's gone over to 1.2. So he's lost that time to Harris there then. So Harris getting in front at the moment so far, but it's Tarlock from Hupert with Overtaker, Sylph, Harris, Clouden, Dan, Ben Ruck, Mike Matthews, Matt Wright, your top 10.
Yes, indeed. Just to answer Implava's question, Rob Smith, quite right, it's 25 seconds without tyres and 30 seconds with for the pit stops, isn't it? It's a minimum 25 second pit stop. You have to put in fuel. At least 1 litre, and it's an extra 5 seconds if you want to change your tyres. But 5 seconds is a long time in the world of racing. So depends what you like on your tyres, I suppose.
Exactly, depends what you like on your tyres. We've seen Hupert still get a bit closer to Tardock at the moment. Clouden's lost a couple more tenths. Who is?
These two.
Yeah, massively. Yeah, they are. Overtaker's not got what these two have up front. Clouden's lost another 2 tenths. Tardock a little deep at the final chicane. Fraser O'Brien still in the pit lane at the moment. And Tardock still pretty close. Let's just drop back down to Matt Wright. He's got O'Reilly and Schundelmeyer still with him. And this trio really having a great fight. Nissan, Honda, Porsche, 3 different cars, 3 different drivers. What a championship this is.
Go back to the front, Matt. Go back to the front. Hupert, I don't know, not quite so much. He's having a run on Tardock down the hill. Tried to cut back on the first corner and is now, as they go down through Eau Rouge and up over the hill, it's Hupert is really, really close to Tardock this time.
Got to run in that slipstream. Here comes Hupert. Tardock's already defended that inside line, and he's now going to hold the inside all over the marbles. He's able to come back across, and he does now. Oh, jinx from Hupert there.
Yeah, absolutely. Some aggressive changes of direction. Nothing wrong that I can see, just hard racing.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Overtaker still 5.4 behind, so all these two are racing aggressively. Overtaker's not being able to catch at the moment. Yellow flag on the track. That is Gary Leach who's getting going now. I can see down by the bus stop chicane. Night to forget for Gary Leach in this one. But so far so good. If you are the Ford, if you're a Ford fan, you'll be happy with this.
Absolutely, what's not to be happy with? You know, they're hard racing, and again, looking at the timetables, they're oh no, I can't now. For some reason, I've broken it. Something's gone wrong. My controller's stopped moving again. I think I've pressed the dreaded drive button, so that's me stuck on whatever I'm watching, which happens to be the lead two. But they were still lapping in the 217s, Matt, which is fast pace for the last kind of the last session, last part of the race. No wonder they're still pulling away from Overtaker.
Yeah, indeed. Patrick Liger on the he's got Darren Yeo gaining on the back of him. That's down for 18th and 19th race. Team SPO was runner-up in the Constructors last season, not having a great showing of it so far at the start of this season, and Liger will try and pull away from Darren Yeo. Keep your eyes on that. Back to the front.
For the front, back to the front. It's I'm coming off this timetable. Hubert had a look up the inside into the chicane. They banged doors, but Tardok stayed in front, and Hooper just kind of looks to the inside. He wasn't as close as he was last lap, not close enough to make a challenge down the hill, but will he make one across along the Camel Straight as they go down through El Rouge again, up over the top of the hill? Will Hubert have a look at Tardok as they come down? They're close again.
They are close again at the moment, and here they go, side by side, nearly down the Camel Straight at the moment as Hooper now late launch to the inside, not close enough, but he thought about it.
Yeah.
This is bringing Overtaker into play slowly here, Kelly. It was 4.6. It's just gone back up through sector one, but Overtaker took about 0.6 of a second out of these two's time in that final sector on the last lap, so he is coming here.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, see, Tardok's last lap was a 2:18.9, a second and a half off his previous lap. So he is starting to defend and starting to look forward and not, look backwards and not look forwards. So giving Overtaker an opportunity to come back at these two. There's only just under 7 minutes to go. So if Overtaker's going to make a challenge, he needs to get on with it. But to be fair, these two could crash into each other yet.
They could indeed. What's happened to Mike Matthews? Is he under-fueled because he's in the pits? Oh, Mike, stacked it up Eau Rouge, gutted, had too much damage, 3 minutes 30 repair time. There we go.
Tardok very, very loose through some of these corners, and giving more opportunities to Hubert to get close to him as they come down once again into the chicane. And this is where Hubert's had a few looks. And how to go? Is he going to have another try? They go around the corner, the fast left-hander before they get to the bus stop chicane. Hubert's not close enough this time. Tardok keeps it all neat and tidy, nice and Plato on the apexes, and
look at the gap, Kelly. Look at the gaps there. Overtaker 3.7 in the middle sector. What's it going to be here? 3.5. So that's another 0.2 he's taken out at the final sector at the moment.
Second, 1.2 on the whole lap.
Yes, these two
just taken back.
These two are fighting hard here, and this is what's hurting these two over that fight at the minute. So don't count Overtaker out of a chance of a race win here.
No, he could slip one up for the greasers and bring this back. So it's not over yet, Matt.
Not over at all. Down the Camel Straight they go once again. Tardok covers that inside line. Hooper just not able to get close enough to him. They've got to surely realise, these two, that the gap is coming down to Overtaker. Hooper looks around the outside, and he's going to try and have that inside line. Has he got the job done? No, he hasn't. Tardok still holds on to that one. They again re-gap Overtaker a couple of tenths. That gap back up to nearly 4 seconds. And again, Tardok manages to just hang on to this. But these two are pushing it to the very, very end. They just rub doors coming through the hairpin corner, and Tardok manages to just hang on to it.
just indeed, as they go down into No Name, but Hubert hasn't given up on this. Tardock goes deep into No Name as they come down the hill into Puon, and Overtaker's still coming at them. He's got to be thinking that there's still an opportunity here in this race, because these two could well take each other out. It's hard racing, very close, but Hubert can't find a way through, and Tardock can't break away.
Matt Wright now moving up to 9th with O'Reilly 10th, Schundelmeyer 11th, obviously with Mike Matthews in the pits. That Tobias Hoffer Bentley again 13th. It's looking solid, is that Bentley at the minute. It's not pulling up any trees, but looks really solid. Gap to Overtaker now through the second sector. Overtaker, look at that, 1.6 he's took out in the middle sector alone.
Yes, indeed. While these two are scrapping, he's gaining. I do believe that Bentley could pull trees up if it tried. But Hubert again now looking as they come towards the fast left-hander and into the bus stop chicane once again. Hubert's looking one way, looks the other, looks round the outside. Is he going to try and go round the outside? Tardock goes deep, very deep. Hubert has got the outside line now. This will give him the inside line for turn 1 on the power.
Done it, Kelly. He's done it.
He's got it done.
He's done it. So Tardock going deep at the chicane all on his own has allowed Hubert to get through. Overtaker now down to 1.5, so 2.2 he gained on the last lap. And bearing in mind, after sector 1, he lost 0.2 of a second. There will be 2 laps left in this race. It is not over yet. Cloudon's got back within a second of Michael Harris. O'Reilly still within a couple of tenths of Matt Wright, as is Sky Schundelmeyer. No real battles helping in elsewhere down the circuit, but it's now Tardock's chance to get the run up El Rouge and his chance to attack Hubert down towards the com. Side by side they come down the Kemmel straight once again. Tardock on the outside line, Hubert on that inside line in towards the com for the 24th time of asking. Tardock around the outside, can he make it stick? They give each other just enough room and they're still together, and Hubert now hangs on to it, but Overtaker joins the party.
Oh yes, absolutely, and he is going to join the party. And I thought Hubert was going to go deep there. He runs up on the curb all kind of clumsily as he comes out that last corner. But Tardock hasn't given this one up yet.
He hasn't. He doesn't want to give this one up without a fight at the moment. Race win last week at Brands Hatch on his debut at SimPlay Motorsport. He took 2 of the fun event race wins he took 1 of the fun event race wins at the Audi event at Paul Ricard. Overtaker's now made this duo into a 3-way, and it's about to get interesting in this final lap and a half here at Spa-Francorchamps in the Ardennes Forest. Deep, not in the shame it's not deep in the jungle, because I could have said something there, but it's not. Either way, we're in for a cracking finale. I think Tardock has now realised he's got to let Hubert go, because he may have to start watching Overtaker.
Yes, indeed, that could well be the case. We're either going to have a line of stern last lap, or we're going to have an epic last lap. But whatever we get, it's certainly been close racing from these Fords. And is it going to be this way all season? It's been a Ford domination for round 1 and round 2, and well, let's see. It's not over yet. Yeah.
Ford Mustang OP, Kelly. I'm going to claim it now after 2 weeks. Ford Mustang OP as Mike Matthews
definitely
off the circuit, stay out the way under the blue flags, and through they come. Now Mike Matthews still staying off the circuit as he lets the leaders go at the moment. Last lap then, Hubert from Tardock from Overtaker. Cloudon's within 0.3 of Michael Harris as well now, so he's brought the party back to Harris for P5 and 6, and Dan Davis has had nothing. That gap's 5.7. He has had nothing back to Jamal Cloudon in this one, but it is all go here between the top 3. Hubert versus Tardock versus Overtaker.
Yes, indeed, as we go up Eau Rouge for the last time. Might get a lap. No, we won't get another lap. That's
another extreme track limit from Overtaker there.
Absolutely. He's probably using up his chances now. As he gets a run on the back of Tardock. Did he gain so much by going deep?
Yeah, he can keep his foot in. It's easy to keep the foot in and to stay there. That's twice. It's twice in this race, Kelly. You don't want to see this stuff.
Some gravel there.
Yeah, well, bring us the updated version, because in fact no, there is still no gravel at the moment on this part of the circuit. Either way, Hubert leading this race, done a good job so far.
Yes, indeed, and I think he's got the measure of Tardock now. And he's gone deep. What's he get off the grass?
Yeah, he's on the grass. Just going to drop back. Okay, not sure what's happened to Clouden. Sorry, Kelly, he was within 700ths of a second, but it's dropped back now. That gap is no longer 700ths of a second. Clouden must have made a mistake somewhere trying to overtake that of Michael Harris.
Yeah, we didn't see that one. I'm still on board with the three leaders.
Yeah.
As I said, Hubert went all the way down the grass. What did he think? He had a Honda there for a minute. He went about 200 yards down on the grass. Probably got a wheel on, and I've just dropped my controller. Probably got a wheel on the grass and struggled to get it off again, because that can happen. And we're coming into the closing stages of this lap now, and I don't think anything's going to change unless Overtaker puts an absolute damn dare one into the chicane. I can't see that anything's going to change. Nobody's close enough.
No, nobody's close enough, and he manages to stay within the track limits this time around, as they all do. Here comes Hooper then into the final chicane. Through he goes, through the left-hander, through the right, through the left. Hooper's going to take his first race win at SimPlay Motorsport from that of Tardock. Hooper fastest lap as well. Tardock second, Overtaker third. Great result for him. Silf will take P4. Lovely stuff there. Michael Harris just at the very end. Look, he's hanging on over that of Clouden really for P5. Clouden will take P6. Then it's Dan Davis coming home with Ben Rook, and Dan's let Ben go.
Give it a place back. Maybe they that was the swap that they did earlier, and they swapped it back. I don't know. I wasn't. I must have missed the team briefing when we did it.
Kieran O'Reilly crosses line for P9 and Schundelmeyer 10th. They both got ahead of Matt Wright. McGowan 12th place. Tobias Hoffer is 13th place. At the moment, we're waiting for him to come across the line.
Yes, indeed. Skunky will be behind him some way back, and Skunky's car looks beat. Probably the most beaten Ferrari I've seen. Been in the wars with that one for sure.
Tobias Hoffer crosses the line P13. Like I say, we're on board with Skunky now, who is currently at the minute.
Yeah, quite a way back as he comes up to the bus stop chicane. He'll be followed in by Ensan, also in a Ferrari. They are close, but not close enough for anything to change. So Skunky's going to come across the line 14th, and Ensan is going to come across the line in 15th. Unsworth is, just coming into chicane now in another Ferrari, and is going to take 16th place. Patrick Ledger in close company with Daz. He has gone deep. And
he's going to have to yield that. Position? No, he's gave it Darren, and that's probably the right thing to do there, Kelly. I have to say, went deep at the chicane. Yeah, that's probably the right thing to do. We just got Gary Leach to wait for as he comes towards the line as well. All in all, Kelly, really.
Tip my hat to Patrick Ledger. Right thing to do. Daz goes into 17th and just picks up one before that. And as you say, we're just waiting for Gary Leach, who's got about 2.5 days worth of lapping to get back.
Yeah, Gary Leach then crosses the line at the very end there and makes sure he finishes at the moment. Right, Kelly. I don't know if Dan has managed to sort out the Discord chat for you. So what we'll do is we'll stay in the PlayStation for now. We'll have to make sure that you can join Discord on the PlayStation, so we'll be able to join the Xbox players on the podium. So let's see who we can get in for a chat in this one. I reckon we're going to be a bit busy in the steward's room this week, I think.
Oh, absolutely. There's plenty to sort out there. There's some naughty driving from a few people there, but also some great racing as well. Another fun-packed evening. It's been the first two rounds have been very exciting, very, very exciting. But I agree exactly with what you said. That Ford is OP.
Yeah, comments made last week about last season about the Lexus being overpowered. I don't think so. Somehow.
No, you got to look at the top. You got to look at not one car but 4 cars in this race. The domination that they had last week as well.
It is indeed. Let's see if anybody does join the commentary box then for a quick chat. Kelly, final thoughts from yourself today. Round up tonight and give us your drive of the day.
Well, Spa never ever disappoints, does it? It's a classic track. We've got some epic drivers here at SimPlay, and I say that with all sincerity. I couldn't mix it with these guys. They're all way too good, which makes the racing absolutely fantastic. 2 rounds in, loving being back in the commentary box. And where are we going next week?
We are going stateside for our first visit back at Indianapolis for this championship. What's that?
I haven't done a single lap round that track, so I'm going to give it a go this week.
I would, because it's different. If you remember the Project Cars 2 version of that circuit, it had the chicane down the back straight. You kind of come more like the old F1 layout, where you come a bit more infield and then take the lines that way. Just going to see if anybody is in the Discord chat. Matt Wright is in there. I will jump in the Discord chat, Kelly. So just see on where you join the parties, go to Discord. If you can see the SimPlay Motorsport on there, great. I am going to go and chat with Matt Wright. He did have his first race win, so I will join him for that one. If we can't get you in there, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next week.
Well, I was just going to do my driver of the day very quickly. I'm going to give it to Hooper, but honourable mention to Tardock and to Overtaker with a great comeback. I think he's gone. Yeah. I don't know how to get onto the Discord. Oh, hang on. I've got to link my account. There's a Discord thingy. I've never done this, so let's have a go. Link, continue. Oh, Christ, here we go. Whew.
Red Bull Ring, definitely Nürburgring, Autumn Park, and Donington Park. They're all circuits that I'll come back in, but the first couple races, no chance.
Nobody's streaming, are they?
No.
Well, I'm certainly not.